Hello and welcome to the Crow's Nest. My name is Brandon Kane, and we've been away for a while, but we returned back now. It's time. It is opening day. We've got hope springing eternal everywhere. People feeling good about this team, this Mariner team, for the very first time in a long period of time. We find this team with expectations, with hope that maybe this can be the year that takes them a little further than they've ever gone. Actually, even just to simply to get to the World Series, dare I say, maybe even to potentially win the World Series. It's been a successful, I think, offseason for Jerry Dipoto. There wasn't necessarily a home run-like swing to be made out there in free agency, and he has, I think, done what he can do with what was available to him. But he had already made some really good moves, of course, with trades anyway on the other side of that, especially the Castillo trade at the trade deadline. And so this team does find himself in a place now with, I think, a solid offseason where they maybe inch a little bit closer, dare I say, to the Houston Astros. We'll see if that is really going to be proven out to be the case here or not, because Astros remain a strong team, certainly a team that is favored by many to go back to the World Series again this year. But that's why we got to play these games. That's why we got to see how it goes down. We're just having the opening pitch here kind of going down here, so we got about 7 minutes until we get to game time and get this underway. Like a lot of the moves, though, I know I haven't done a lot of covering on the channel. I've been very deep into my Seahawks channel, so I just haven't had as much time in this offseason to cover the Mariner content. Great to see Griffey and J-Rod getting a hug there. You got Griffey next to Beast Mode. Oh, my gosh, dude. Kind of geeking out a little bit here. They had Griffey and you had Beast Mode on the baseball field, and Julio there, and a lot of legends on one field, you know? It's a lot of legends on one field. We get our ace to go out here tonight, though. Castillo, the very man, will be the guy to take the hill for us tonight. And we're going to get to see, I think, but beyond that, I think the expectations for the team this year and where they could be going, we're going to get to see a team that is going to have to play and operate within these new rules, which should make this game a lot more faster paced, a lot more exciting. And I think that if baseball does what I think is going to happen here, I think you're going to bring more fans back to the sport if they can bring a little bit more of that excitement back. And with the rules that they've implemented in, I really do feel like I'm pretty pro on all of these rules. I liked everything they've done so far and how they've applied it. And it's been especially fun to watch Dipoto try to adjust this offseason. You were a team that benefited as much as any team last year from the shift and moving one guys to one side of the field to sort of force a hitter to hit the other way. Now that gets taken away. You know, they certainly seem to, at least from a hitter standpoint, bring in hitters that could do a little bit more of taking advantage of that lack of shift that will now occur. You know, to maybe have more of those hits that go through now that in these recent prior years have been just eaten up and died, due to the shift. I hope you guys are having a good night tonight and are excited for this season too. Definitely have some high hopes, and I love the squad they put together. Teoscar Hernandez, Colton Wong at second base. I think that they've definitely improved those positions, and Jared Kelenick's been tearing the cover off the ball all spring training. So if he can be an impact bat, to me, that's almost a bit of the biggest key for us at this point, unless we make some kind of major trade, is that if you want to talk about what would it be to be getting over the top, to me, it's a little bit of based within Kelenic being that guy, the guy you thought he was going to be and develop into, and what you thought you were trading for in that Mets trade. If he can become that guy within this lineup, within the rest of what you have, that's a World Series contending team to me. Tobias Larson, very good to see you. How you doing tonight, man? Hope well. Thanks for jumping in. Eric Wallace, hello, my friend. Good evening. Good evening, man. Top Cheese, what's up? Megan Cockrodge is the house. My lady from Denenda. How you doing? Says, greeting bees. Not feeling the best, but am scrapbooking while listening at the Crow's Nest. Well, thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Appreciate you tuning in. Megan says, if Ichiro's there, I'll be very happy. I think he was maybe in there. With me, I see Griffey on the field. I can't really go look anywhere else. Griffey's the only guy on the field for me. I barely saw beast mode. Big Nagasa, what's up? Big country. Howdy, man. Good to see you guys. In Tech World, we are here. Let's go. I was wrong, Brando. First Mariner shift is tomorrow for me. Oh, okay. Well, I have to do opening night, you know. Mark Arbicorn, thanks for reminding me that. Hit that like button, sub up if you're not already, folks. We're doing well. We're going to get over 1,000 here this year, which is really good for the channel. I'm encouraged by that. Rob Terrell, hello. Sam the Great, what's up? Finally's right. Here we go. March took forever, isn't it? March was the longest month of the year so far. Not even like for the last year. So A3, I've always been a fan of Kelnick. Hopefully he can carry his spring training and success. Me too, man. It does seem like with a little bit with him, it was just a matter of kind of getting out of his own head. Some guys take a little bit longer than others to develop. He's still a very young player, but it just kind of felt like he needed a little bit more time to kind of just get locked in. But he has been locked in this spring, and he goes out there and puts up a 280 season with 30 home runs. And you put that now into the lineup, and you should have relatively plus defense all the way around that outfield, say nothing to the defense on the infield. With the starting pitching, with the bullpen, you see how it all kind of comes together there. Sam the Great says, I need Kelnick to hit dingers this year. We need 30 bombs. We need 30 bombs out of the Kells. 30 bombs. Megan says, will be interesting to see how Teoscar goes this year, B. What do you think of him? Oh, I loved him, Megan. It was funny. We were actually doing we had the stream against the Blue Jays last year in the playoffs, and I was live streaming during the games at that time. And I was kind of marveling a couple different times about Teoscar just as a hitter. I thought he really jumped out to me. I loved his swing. The ball just jumped off his bat. One of those guys that just, wherever he hits it, he's hitting it right on the nose. And I was like, boy, we need one of these guys. And then they went out and they signed it. And he's not necessarily some superstar type, but he's just you needed less really black holes in this lineup. You had so many spots in this lineup throughout the last couple of years where you'd be good, and then just darkness, utter, complete darkness. Decent, complete, utter darkness. Okay. And your lineup kept rolling that way, which allowed you to not really ever generate any consistency in generating runs. That's why everything had to come down to being home runs or nothing, because you didn't have the lineup that could consistently hit the ball enough for just far as average goes and getting on base, drawing enough walks with average that it just didn't. It wasn't going before with that. You can't construct a lineup in that way. You got guys hitting 195, another guy hitting 175. Your offense is going to be non-functional at that point. And I think they've taken enough steps to hem that up. And even though that's not getting a superstar type like bat, that still is doing a good job of, it's a little bit like what we see our Hawks doing. You're working a little bit on your weaknesses rather than maybe building on some of the strengths, just to build a more well-rounded team presumptively. Wu-Tang Financial, baseball's back, baby. Yes, it is. Feeling a bomb from Julio and T.O. each tonight. I'd like that. A little Julio opening night bomb would put a smile on my face. Rob says, wow, Suarez hitting sixth. They're just lengthening the lineup out, Rob. That's all they're doing now. You're not forced as much to put Suarez up in that 4 hole. I'm okay with that. It'll definitely shake out differently as we get a month down the road on this too, right? Kronos, hey B, what's up, Kronos? 283 says Robbie Ray quietly had a really good spring training. He's been working, I heard, on the old cutter or the split finger. I think it was the split finger actually, right? I think he's been working on the split finger. That pitch that's kind of subtly gone out of the game of baseball for some reason or another. Oh, I think I know why. It's a pitch that puts a lot of strain on the arm, or it was used to have thought to put a lot of strain on the arm. But if he can get that pitch to lock in right, you can get a lot of dive on that pitch, and it can make your fastball that much more devastating because it looks just like a fastball, and then the bottom drops out. So if he can get that thing to work, but it's a feel pitch. It's not one where you go, well, I remember I threw it back in high school, and I struck the guy out. My coach was laughing at me, and he's like, what was that, a spin pitch? it's splitter, coach. Struck him out. Why are you laughing at me? But it's a hard pitch. It's because your fingers don't want to go as far wide as you need to go on it to get the sinking motion. So you got to get that money spot to where you can still get enough pressure and push on the baseball, and then where you can also get the sink by getting it on the outer edges. Get your fingers to the to the real edges of the baseball when you're throwing it, right? You go too much this far, the ball just kind of comes out like it'd be like a ping pong ball coming out of your hand. But you get a little more of your fingers on the top side of the ball at that point with the split finger action to it. Now you can get that real tight sink to it. It's a fun pitch. Fun pitch. Wu-Tang says, T.O. is such a good fit for this team. Big bat, fun dude. He's a good, fun player. You're right. A good all-around player. You're right. I think that's the best way with it. Just what this team kind of needed. You know, just what they needed. We got the Guardians getting ready to come up now. We've got, of course, the new pitch clocks this year, the lack of the shift. See how this kind of impacts things. It's going to be interesting. And Luis Castillo taking the hill last year. Such a great addition for this Mariner ball club. Signed that contract extension. A guy that definitely maybe this year might be a guy in contention to go get that Cy Young here out in the AL, especially pitching in this stadium. Kronos, what's up, man? Good to see you. Megas has loved TL for a long time. Was just as excited as the M signed him as I was about Bobby coming home to the Hawks. Ooh, there we go. There we go. Well, should get excited. This outfield could work. You got 30 plus bombs coming from every position plus defense down the line. Could work. Could very well work. D-Man, what's up, man? Says, Brandon, you were right about Robbie Ray. He had a decent year last year. Some of us were just pissed at the time. I get it. I mean, I understand where people are coming from with it, and he did sign a big contract, and it's a lot of money. You know, people do have expectation. That's a 1-0 pitch here from 2-0 pitch to start things off with Vinny, and boy, they're going to go fast with this. This is going to cook today, isn't it? Let me try to get my thing up here, folks, so that I can get the tracer for you guys up. I thought this was up. Ooh, 3-0. A little wild to start things off. Okay. MLB's changed their deal, I guess, a little bit this year. Boop, boop, boo. Is that how you gotta do it? Why did they make this so confusing this year? Why is it so confusing? There you go. There we go. So 3-2. Vinny Castillo's worked his way back in here. I'm going to get my thing set up. It's a ball hit up into the air third base side. Suarez is underneath. He's got it taken care of. I'm going to get my big fat head out of the way here for you folks. If I can here to get this. You know, it's opening day. Everybody's working out some kinks here a little bit, right? We're all working out the kinks just a wee bit. There we go. All right, one down here. Got back in that count. Comes back with another fastball here. 0-1 to Ahmed Rosario with 283 with 11 bombs last year. They're working fast, man. These ball games are going to go quick. Just another attribute of this now. Swing and a miss. Got him at 90 miles an hour at the top of the zone there. Was that a... I don't know what that was. Huge sinker at the top of the zone. Strikes him out with a 97 mile an hour heater also at the top of the zone. He threw they had him at 90. They had it at 90 mile an hour on the telecast. It's on 96. They're saying on the 0-1 pitch, but comes right after him there. 1, 2, 3 pitches. You're out. That four seam on that was a nasty second pitch. Right back with the 97. He dropped back 3-0 on the first guy. He's coming back with the fastball here really quickly here to Jose Ramirez now with two men quickly down. Vinny. Oh, umpire's giving him a zone. It's a couple inches outside, but he gave him the strike. He can feel already Castillo locking in maybe. I'm giving him a little bit of a Benny bump there. Steele back with a wind. 0-2. Hit meekly on the ground. Ty France is up with it. He will go to the first base side, and that will be 1, 2, 3. So you can see right here, folks, this is what could potentially bring people back to baseball. This isn't a 25-minute inning where the pitcher's standing around, walking all over the place, licking his fingers, scratching his butt. The batter's over there adjusting his gloves, right? Putting the bat down, picking it up, putting it down, swinging, loosening himself, having the bat boy bring out one of those massagers for his thigh for a second. You know? But D-Man, we'll see this year. I maybe looked on your point. Sorry, I got cut off on the Robbie Red thing because I forgot how fast these innings were going to go. But we'll see how he does this year. And, if he does fall off this year, I think those people that were definitely jumping on that saying, hey, that was a horrible signing and now you got to admit it. I'm going to probably have to change track at that point and eat some crow if that does go. But I think he's going to be pretty just at least solid for us. I'm not expecting Sar, but just be a solid guy in this rotation. I know the price is going to be high for paying for solid at that point, but I think we can at least get that. I think, D-Man. Corey Pitts says, have you ever considered have you ever considered applying to be a talent scout? I would love it if you became the Hawks talent scout. You're usually right on your assessments. You have the content to put in your resume. I would be definitely down to do it, Corey. I think I'm a little bit like, Hendrix was with it on the guitar where I never learned the notes. And I think that would be a problem that maybe any real coaching place or any organization trying to hire me on would have an issue with me on that, is that I might be seeing it right, but I'm not seeing it right with the right terminology, or there's some weird savant thing that I'm maybe seeing in it that I've been right on. But I'm down to do it. I would down. I don't know what the application process would be like to try and. I'm not sure what it would even be like to how you would apply to them. If you just reach out to SeattleSeahawks.com or whatnot. The other thing is I'm pretty old, so they may be looking for more guys that are in their 20s, 30s, rather than the guy that's in his 40s plus. 40s. 40s plus. All right, we got Julio starting it off here now. Bottom of the first inning. Outside, ball one. Justin Bieber's on the hill. Julio tucks that elbow in. Hits it up. Foul. 1-1. Julio last year hit 284. 28 bombs in 132 games. Hopefully that back's feeling spry and right this year. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Back with a slider there from Bieber. 1-2. But I would, Corey, if you got ideas on maybe how I should contact him a little bit, I'm definitely open to it, man. I would love to do that. Good eye there by Julio. Bieber came back with a slider, trying to sweep it across the plate in the same way they just had. And Julio didn't bite. 2-2. Julio had 6 leadoff home runs last year. And he's going to bounce that one. Trying to overthrow that slider a little bit. Drawing this count to 3-2. I'd love to do it, though. That'd be a dream job, Corey. Dream job. I'd work for peanuts. 3-2. Oh, got him on the slider. What was that, 4 straight sliders to Julio there at the end? And they finally got him. He didn't bite on 3 of them, and they got him to bite on the 4th. I guess the cutter. He slipped a couple cutters in there, too. He wasn't coming back with a fastball, I'll tell you that. He's not coming back with the fastball. Low. Colton Wong, new addition from the Padres. 251 last year with 15 home runs. Takes ball 2. This guy that a lot of people think with his he's got a pure pulse stroke a little bit out there that maybe a little bit better luck this year with the lack of the shift. Have a little bit of a high strike there. Ump has got himself a nice little zone tonight. That ball is fouled. Two and 2 here to Colton Wong. Career high 15 home runs for him last year. Gets a little under this one. Skies it up into the outfield. fairly deep, but in play, and that will be out number 2. The out number 2. Outside, umpires calling the wide strike tonight, folks. 0-1 here to Ty France. Megan, did we get Tio in a trade? No, we just, yeah, we did. That ball's hit out into left field. That'll be a base hit for Ty France. Nice little opening to the season from Ty. Line drive stroke that we've all come accustomed to. Not trying to do too much with it here. He gets a fat little pitch over the middle of the plate and does something with it. Nice job by Ty. Yeah, we moved a bullpen guy for him. So we didn't give up a lot for him, Megan. It's a pretty low cost move to pull him in here, especially for what you're getting. Swing and a miss here for Teoscar Hernandez, hitting cleanup in the lineup tonight. Hit 267 last year with 25 home runs. Guy's got some good pop in the bat. Low. I don't know if that's a cutter he's throwing there, but a lot of breaking balls here for Bieber in the. I know it's Shane Bieber, by the way. I know somebody's probably like Justin Bieber. I was making a joke. A lot of breaking balls here for Bieber here to start things off. Goes back with the cutter outside. I'm just not going to give it to you that wide. Hernandez, a career high 116 RBIs last year in Toronto. One of the reasons you got him hitting cleanup here. I think with putting him and Ty France at that spot too, you're getting 2 real live line drive hitters in the middle of your order. A little less of maybe what you might get with a Suarez there with a little bit too many strikeouts. We was asking earlier about why we drop him down a bit there. Could be a bit of the reason. All right, we got 2-2. Hernandez doing a good job here the last couple pitches, just fighting off some tough pitches and breaking pitches at that again. Able to stay alive here in this count. Making Bieber work a little bit here this first inning. That's his 18th pitch. Two-two delivery. Low. You're going to wonder about, too, when you get these pitchers now getting into these innings where they throw 24, 25 pitches. It isn't like what it was before. You know, especially when we get to the heart of the summer where it gets really hot, these guys are going to get taxed. You will get wiped out because you don't have that extra time to rest between pitches. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good job by Bieber in this, coming back on a couple 3-2 counts here to retire the side. So 1 hit. No runs, 0-0 after 1. Voodoo says Tio is the perfect for the team. If you wanted I wanted him for a while. He was a Mariner killer. If you can't beat him, trade for him. That's the way to go, man. That's right. Now you just got to get Trout next. I mean, I'm kidding. Big Country, I think the average spring training game was around 2 hours and 35 minutes. It's going to go fast. These are going to go quick, Big Country. I can feel it in the first inning here. You know, it's going to cook along. And, it's good for the game. These are the right things to do. Baseball's got to be thinking about the future. Look at how much football changes year to year with stuff. You've got to be willing to move a little bit and not just stay rigid. And this is how we did it 75 years ago. So what? You know, we've got to move with the times. You know, Swanson. Thank you, Voodoo. That's the guy I was trying to remember. Swanson. Sampson. I was way off. D-Man says these rules will cut an hour at most on average with these games. If you have 2.5 hours to kill to watch a game, you have 3 hours to kill. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's, to me, not the big issues to me aren't necessarily when the games went to 3 hours. I think the big game issues when you start talking about the games going to 3.5, 4 hours. And you have these long points in time to go through, you know, and I think that's as much as what they were trying to make sure they could get out of the game as much as the 3 hour game, you know, because when you do talk about going and investing 4 hours into a a game where there's 162 of those this season, it's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot of investment to ask from fans. You know. DK Deadcap says faster games won't bring back fans. Stars will. Certainly, stars are needed in the game right now. That's for sure. I don't think that just any one of these things is going to in itself solve the issues that plague baseball. They've been waiting for a while to deal with these issues. And so you're not going to fix it with a one-size-fits-all kind of application. Slider here on the first pitch of the second inning from Castillo is a strike on the outside corner, 0-1 to Josh Bell. But there are steps that are going to help. And, you know, the shift stuff's going to open up the offense. The pitching clock is going to get the speed of the game going. You know, more offense, faster game should result to me in a better benefit to the game overall. But we'll see. I mean, that's we'll see how this it'll be fun to sort of track it. But it's a step in the right direction, at least. 1-2 here from Castillo, low and away. Check swing, no go, 2-2. D-Man says, I think signing him for 5 years wasn't a good idea, but he has an opt-out after this year, I believe. Is it in a mutual opt-out, D-Man, or is it the player only gets the opt-out? It's probably the player, in which case he's not opting out of that deal, right? He's like, I'm comfy. 2-2, low, ball 3. Both of the first two batters start the inning, and for Castillo start things off. He's starting to lock in just a little bit. 3-2 pitch. Head down on the ground. Ties shortstop's up with it, and he'll throw him out with ease. Megan says, be careful, B. I'm on the downhill slide to 50. Yeah, I'm just about there. I'm walking up the final couple rungs of the ladder, Megan. I'm begrudgingly moving up the final couple rungs. 1 out now. Nice fastball in the outside corner here by Castillo. He's doing a good job getting those corners early on. He's not finding any sort of meaty portion of the plate. Strike. 0-2. Went outside and then came back inside. That's brutal with that fastball. There's so much action on it. You're going, okay, I'll look outside. Oh, he gets me inside with it. Comes back outside portion of the plate. Again, painting the black there. Looked like a slider, I think. Might have just been his. Was that his 89 mile an hour changeup? Jeez. Whew. Must be nice. 0-2 here. See if he buries a pitch and tries to get a swing here. Nope, he gives up a little bit of juice, and this ball's hit way up in the air. Gets under it. Dangerous pitch there. He put that one kind of right down Main Street for him. But he's got that plus power where even when he misses over the middle of the plate, it's coming at you about 97 miles an hour with movement. 2 outs. Swing, but check swing, 0-1 to Andres Gimenez. Steel stuff looking pretty good right now. Ooh. Misses inside off the plate, almost hits him. 1-1. Megan, what's the penalty if the pitcher takes too long? I kind of forget. I think it's a ball or something, isn't it? Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Rising 97 mile an hour fastball there. Just could not catch up to it. Wind, delivery, 1-2. Knocked foul. See if this remains in play. Suarez giving it chase. He is there. Out number 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Cooking through. Mark says, oh hell, you two. I'm on the upper ladder towards 60. Yes, I know, but it still is just rough, man. Time's going by faster, Mark, and it's not fair. It's not fair. What's up, Connor Clifton? How you doing, man? This is what's good, B. Let's go M's. Go M's, man. Let's get it done today. Megan's wearing her Wear My Drought and F and Ended M's t-shirt that I bought in Seattle today. Let's go at the Crow's Nest. Let's go. Hopefully got some good vibes coming off that shirt. DK Deadcalf, what is everyone's obsession with offense? Did everyone fall asleep when Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, and Pedro Martinez were pitching? No. I mean, I love a well-pitched game as well as anybody else, DK. I really do. But I think what's happened is that the pitching has become slanted that hard in that direction. You're talking about the age that those pitchers pitched in. There was more offense during when those guys dominated. And what's happened is that the offense is not simply, somewhat trickled down. It's been reduced. It's, almost nothing. And you're having so many games where there's nothing happening. And I don't think that that's what you want necessarily as a sport, every single game going down. I think you want to try to, give people some action to look at, get them something to view. And I love a well-pitched game, but do I love that they've gone this many of them? That it's become this much with pitching to the point where offense has been so reduced in recent years to all or nothing play. Because even if you like pitching right now and you think that this great age has been awesome, I mean, you got to acknowledge that with the shift and all this stuff, you've taken out the hitting portion of the game for pitching a bit, and it needs to be probably balanced up. Not to mention the fact it can help things out a bit. Raleigh up quickly doing his free swinging ways here on the first two pitches, and he knocks a foul up to the left side. Quan makes the catch there, out number one. So I mean, the sport's not moving in a direction of thriving as we go forward right now. There's a trend on this sport, and I love it to death, that they've got to make some changes. They want to keep this thing surviving. And I think they're taking these steps, and they're the appropriate steps. Suarez up now. Slider on the first pitch for a strike on the outside part of the plate. 0-1. Bieber's doing a good job here, sweeping that slider across the plate and hitting his spot. Comes right back with it again. Suarez hits this one into the gap. Quan giving chase. This one's going to get down. Suarez digs on in for two, and he will get there standing up. Just as I was giving him props for throwing these nice sliders and pinpoint spots on the outside part of the plate, he leaves one hanging right over Main Street, and Suarez pops that one right into the gap, pokes it in the gap. You can see that slider on the tracer there. That just went up and down. It didn't have that horizontal kind of, you want the slider to be coming in at the angle, right? And it just had that hanging kind of straight up and down, easier to read when it's just going in one direction. Suarez on second now. Kelenic up to the plate. Strike right at the top of the zone. Kelenic looking relaxed in the batter's box. Bieber comes set. Slider misses low. 1-1. Bieber doing a lot of blowing on his hand. No doubt a cold night out there in Seattle. Or chill. Let's say chilly. A little chilly. Bieber comes set. Outside, ball two. Good eye by Kelenic. 2-1. Mariners doing a pretty good job here outside of Raleigh. Every Mariner batter was kind of working the count pretty well. Hits this on the ground, foul. I got to get a new laptop. This thing is definitely... It's definitely on its last legs. I probably just need to get a real television. I have a tiny desk, though. It doesn't fit anything. 2-2 pitch here to Kelnick. Slider bounced in the dirt. Suarez is going to be able to get over to third base. Bieber just trying to overthrow it. He keeps blowing on his hand. Just can't get a feel. When it gets chilly, anybody that's lived in the Pacific Northwest knows, whether it be in spring or whether it be in fall, right about this time of year, you find yourself in kind of the equivalent would be October, in that you're outside. You can stay okay, relatively warm, but the tips of your fingers will get very, very cold. And when you're trying to throw that slider, that's a feel pitch on the ends and the tips of your fingers. And if you can't feel them, you can't get as precise with where you want to put the ball necessarily. He's been okay with it early on, but on a couple of these, you can just see he's lost the feel for it on the grip, and he's going right to his mouth. 3-2 pitch here to Kelnick. Slider, strike 3, and it was a nasty one to Kelnick. Nothing he could do with that one. Right at the knees. I mean, right at the bottom of the zone, inside. That's a tough pitch right there. You do want to try to just be, maybe protecting if you're Kelnick there with 2 strikes. I mean, it's close enough to maybe swing there, but it's when Bieber's got that pitch locked in with the slider, he's putting it on the right spot. Fastball, strike 1 here. Tommy La Stella to the plate for the Mariners. This ball's hit left field. Kwan's got a track on it, and he'll make the catch. Now number 3, 2 innings down. Mariners threaten with Suarez on third, but can't bring him home. 2 hits. The Mariners here, no runs. Cleveland's going to come up here in the top of the third. Garza's electronic strike zone will bring you back. It's inevitable, but some of the old timers are holding us back. If Trump gets rid of daylight savings and implements the electronic strike zone, he may get my vote. Yeah. Oh Lordy. I want the electronic strike zone too. I'm ready for it. I don't need the nostalgia of the umps on the field. Connor says, I'm 27 and I feel old, laughing my ass off. Hey, I know, man. I felt old at 27. It's like Mark talking about being 60. It's like it's just you do get to that point where you're like, oh yeah, the youth is completely gone now. I can't, like right now, Connor, you can still be like, yeah, I'm still kind of like young. I'm still kind of like young man, kid. I can still kind of be in that place, Yeah, when you get to 40, ain't no young man stuff, nothing no more. The die is cast. Connor says, yep. MLB needs ratings. They do, man. It's the truth. Sam the Great says they made the right call getting rid of shifts. Scoring more will bring in more fans. Agreed. And I'm not a big guy that's always about offense. I hate in football, for instance, how far they've slanted offense to that side of the ball. And made it easier for offenses. I like balance, but we have that same kind of disbalance going on here in Major League Baseball with these offenses. And you could be a purist and tell me, oh, well, the guy's got to hit it the other way. He's got to hit it the other way against the shift. And it's good luck. You tell me I got pitchers now that throw 97 with movement, and they're crushing me on the inside part of the plate on the strike zone on the black, and I'm going to take that pitch and put it in left field. Why? How? It's going to be hard enough just to hit the ball. Ooh, Castillo had the ball hit right back at him. He seems to be okay. The ball went right off the top of maybe his hand there. Ew, that's scary. Oh, right off his right off his neck. Oh, he almost got that freaky pitch there. Looks like it's kind of a glancing blow, but he seems to be okay. Scary moment, man. We've seen some real horrific hitting balls back at the pitcher moments where you're like, oh, Lord. Runner will get on. DK Metcalf says, are they going to change the rules back when the hitters are on top? If it turns into a disbalance, if you have the disbalance, if pitchers and the way they've been dominating over the last good amount of time now, basically since the end of the steroid era and the end of the Greeny era, the pitchers have basically been dominating at a level that's sort of a different level from the rest of baseball history. Then yeah, if that happens in the same equivalent fashion, then I would say that they should be looking to then move it back into the right place where there is the balance there. This is going to certainly give, I think, theoretically, a hitters the advantage in both respects. But, the pitching clock may help out the pitchers as much as it does help the hitters. We'll kind of have to see how this all kind of plays out with that. 1-0 here with Castillo. Goes a little low there. 2-0 on a fastball right at the knees. Well, that looked like a good pitch to me. Come on, Blue. 2-0 pitch here to former Mariner Mike Zunino. Zunino's got 146 home runs in his career. I would not have guessed that number. Surprised if he had 146 hits. 2-1. Batted foul. 2-2. Steele getting back on top of this count a little bit. It's good to see. Kronos is there looking at other sports and seeing offenses driving ratings. I think that that's definitely a bit of a part of it, sure. A swing and a miss. Strike 3 on a rising fastball. That was rising from the bottom of the earth up to the top of heaven. No chance at that one there. Zunino. Oh, look, Mike Zunino strikes out. Shocker. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that, but again, I think it's also that stuff's happening at the same time that's happening. Your offense is not only not exploding. This first pitch hit down. It's hard to interact with the chat with this game's going so fast now. Foul ball, 0-1. But you have your sport where not only is the offense not in that explode mode, you're in the inverse, where you're seeing a deadening period of your offense for a good 2 decades. So it's also that too a little bit. 0-1. Foul back. Castillo's getting locked back in here. Another rising fastball there. You can't do that. You can always go to that rising fastball at any point. And it's so hard not to swing at it because it's in the zone when you begin your swing. And it ends up at your eyes. And that runs. To try to get your bat on the ball like that, you just gotta time it just right. Swing and a miss, strike 3, fastball, bottom of the zone. That fastball had the bottom drop out on it a little bit. Wow, that thing just dipped. That's his sinker. I mean, he's throwing a sinker at 96, folks. Come on, Like, get out of here. They used to throw sinkers at like 87, 86. Strike 1 here to Stephen Kwan. And you can see Castillo's definitely going to be okay with this pitch clock thing. It's not looking like it's a hindrance to him. He's liking the fast paced. Ball's fouled back, 0-2 here for Kwan. Castillo with the sign. He's going to try to put this low and bury it. Leaves it up a little high. Kwan able to get a little bit of a bat on it, but he's going to knock that foul. Kelenic giving chase. I agree, Voodoo. I think that Kelnick is kind of the X factor to this year. Just an average hitter, it'll make the difference. A couple different reasons, too, with it. 0-2 here still to Quan. Steele's going to throw over here to try to keep the runner close. This is certainly a pitch where you might have the runner going, of course, because you got 0-2, and theoretically, Castillo might bury this pitch. You want to run on a breaking ball. Goes into his wind up high. Ball one. I think that was almost kind of like a pitch out there with Castillo. Just kind of threw that out. Not like a full pitch out, but just kind of, I think they were thinking maybe the runner was going to go there. 1-2. Two men down here. Top of the third inning. Gets him. Strike three. I believe that's retiring the retiring the side by strikeout all the way around here for Castillo. It looks like you got him on another sinker there. Castillo's got all the pitches working right now. And the stuff looks dominant. He's showing you ace stuff tonight. Connor Bieber's pitching pretty good too. There's some filth in there. There's some filth from Bieber. Corey says, as long as you haven't lost your ability to learn, you could always learn in the terminology. I'd say pull out all the assessments you've had on players, put it in a compilation video if you're serious. I'm down to do that, Corey. The only thing is right now it's like the channel's taking so much time every day. I'd have to stop doing stuff for the channel to kind of do something like that. And it's a lot of diving through tape, because it's a lot of, I've got something easily we've done 600 shows, probably average 5 hours a piece. So, you're looking at, what is that? 3,000 hours? I don't know. 30,000 hours of kind of footage to kind of go through and pick through. It's a lot. I think it's a great idea on your part. Don't get me wrong, I do. But that's the part where I'm even right now, I've got people that are like, Corey, I get hammered for people get more short content out. I don't want to watch 5-hour things. And it's like, boy, I just can't. I wish I could. I want to. I think what I might need to do is hire somebody for the channel. You know what I mean, Corey? I think eventually I'm going to have to whether I'm making enough for the full time or not, at least bring somebody on that can augment some of the workload. Because the thumbnails, the video creation, the download this, the put up this, the put the tags in, the titles, the descriptions, the tags, the days just go, It's a great idea though, man. And I have wanted to do something like that, maybe kind of put even just for the channel's sake. First pitch swinging here to start out the inning. This will be a base hit out into center field. Here we go, JP. Crawford starting off the season right, just like Ty France. So I think it is a great idea. I do want to do it for sure. Don't get me wrong on that. I really do. But that's the problem I have right now is just I got to find a way to get the time to find those hits or those swing, those parts where I got them right because they're buried within all the other content in there. And I didn't do a good job during the time of really separating things out and, all that. It's so time consuming. That's the main problem. It's just time. The hours just fly by when you work on this stuff. All right, Julio up here, advantageous position now. Runner on first, nobody out. Bottom of the third. He's going to take a first pitch fastball on the outside part of the plate. 1-0. See if Bieber is ballsy enough to give him a fastball here. Oh, nope. Julio fouls that one off. Julio thought he was getting one for a second there. Got out in front of that pitch just a little bit. 1-1. But I got to find those hits, Corey. That's the thing. I got to find those hits. I got a couple of them on my draft night ones. I could just set up my Collier, Brooks, Eskridge, breakdowns on the draft night. Julio hits this one up into the air and deep, but it is going to drop right at the warning track. J.P. Crawford gets on his horse back to first. Looked good off the bat. He hit it strong, but just couldn't quite get it up out there beyond Doing that. Maybe my brightness. I need to change here a little bit. All right, Colton Wong back up to the plate now for his second at bat. 0 for 1. He flew out in the first. Mariners are getting some base hits here. Not so reliant on the home run ball. Connor, pitchers are just getting better and better, man. This ball's hit back foul. Uh, 0-1. Inside, ball 1 on that. Of course, says I'd be willing to do some groundwork and find out whose leg you got to hump to get your foot in the door. Laughing out loud. I bet, Corey, man, if you can help me out on that, that'd be great. I'm not trying to parse it off on you. I definitely love. I'm me with me. I'm willing to take responsibility and put in the work, to kind of figure it out. But that's my hard part right now. Like, I'll be multitasking right now, trying to listen to other shows, pull stuff out, be working on the next video, responding back to people in the comments. You get DM'd from 10,000 people on Twitter in the comments asking questions. So it's just like, I love doing it. I love every part of doing the channel. I do. But that's the thing I run into now is I know that there's people like, well, you maybe do this or think about doing that. And I'm like, boy, I don't have a life as it is. I already barely see my family and get out, see the sunshine, but I would do that. If you do groundwork or find something out for me on that or who to contact, I'd reach out. I'll put my resume on the line. I'll say, look at who I've gotten, look at my backup on it, I mean, I got my draft guide from last year still put together. I'm about to post my new draft guide this year, on the other channel. And, Ty France got a 1-1 count here. We got 2 men out. Crawford on second. The pitch low, bounced. Crawford's going to stay at second. Don't want to be the third out at third base when you're in scoring position, especially not with a guy like Zunino and his gun down there. But if you're willing to do some legwork, man, I'm on it. I'm with it. I'll try to do what I can on my end too. I am trying to go back through that old content, Corey, and find clips and stuff. So I am doing that right now. But as I said, it's just tough with the timing on it. It's just tough with the timing. We need to get to the point where there's 29 hours in a day, not 24. Ty's got himself here into a 2-2 count now. 2 men out. Let's see if Seattle can get a little bit of clutch hitting. Remember last year, this was one of the real issues with the lineup of just being able to hit with clutch. Well, we got so reliant on the home run last year. Get guys in scoring position and just could not push them through. Ty 1 for 1 here. Hits that ball down the ground. And Crawford's going to get down to third base. There's another ball down in the dirt. Again, Bieber's sliding back and forth between having a feel on that slider and having no feel on that slider. I'm sure the cold air is a bit of it. Opening night, you're not going to have necessarily your best stuff as a pitcher. But he's certainly having a little bit of a hard time, it seems like, getting his feel right on that thing because he's overthrown it so often. 3-2. Payoff pitch. Bounced right back to Bieber. He's got it. He'll underhand to first base. That will be out number 3. 3 innings down. 0-0. Voodoo says Zunino's good for 25 home runs a year with a 180 average. Yeah, he is. He is. That's very true. Of course, it's also in your resume. You should express how passionate you are, not only for football, but the Seahawks organization. I've noticed when John talks, he likes passionate guys who really love the sport. Oh, for sure, man. I'd probably run the res past you, man. I'd probably do a rough draft and see what you thought at that point. Be like, all right, what do you think here? Have we captured it? That's a unique kind of resume, right? Like none of my tech background's probably gonna apply on something like that. You know what I mean? So I'd have to get kind of colorful with it. But I'm down, man. I'm with it. Brandon Schutz says, I am here. How are you? Welcome to Major League Baseball Day. Hey, well, happy Major League Baseball Day, Brandon. It's good to see you, man. I'm doing great. I got Corey over here talking me into becoming a Seahawks scout, man. I'm ready to roll. I got to go get a whistle. I need to go get one of those funny hats they wear, Take up smoking. Wu-Tang Castillo is freaky when he's on. He's a very freaky pitcher. Dominant. Corona says the ungodly pitching is from pitchers evolving to match the Royd era batters, but now they are gone batting. They lost a ton versus pitching. Yeah, you lost the Royd guys, and they aren't getting the same guys hitting in the same way, right? And the greenies too. Let's acknowledge the greenies, the uppers that they used to take. They kept those guys engaged throughout the course of those long baseball games. Helped to keep them when they went up to bat being frosty and on point, ready to go. You took out kind of 1, 2, and it was right for Major League Baseball to take out both of those. That isn't good that you have those in your culture. Is like, well, this is just good to have this out here. But it did have a cascading effect on offense for the last couple of decades, and it's one of the reasons that the steroid era was just so bad in the first place, in my opinion. But Castillo back out on the hill now, hits inside corner for a fastball to begin things. Steele looking mighty sharp. Again, another pitch that's right there on the black. Nothing you're going to be able to do with it. Ahmed Rosario struck out first at bat. This will be a tough play for Crawford. Slow roller. He runs up, picks it, tosses him out, and could throw. Out number 1. It's one of the reasons why they think I'll be able to pull off doing 80 games this year, too, is because these games will be going so fast. It's not as much of an investment to go live if you're in and out in 2.5 hours. All right, Castillo with the wind here now. Slider right on the outside part of the plate. Strike. Jose Ramirez up to the plate here. Well, he's just working fast. Fastball, outside corner. Again, umpire giving him a couple inches off the plate. You give a guy like Castillo a couple inches off the plate, he's already dominant. Even if you're fitting within the designs of the strike zone. Give him an extra 2 inches and hitters might as well just stay in the dugout. 0-2 now. Castillo with the wind. Outside, 97-mile fastball, ball. 2-8-3-1-2-8 is the trade package for Castillo, and here's the pitch. Hit foul. The trade package for Castillo seemed like a lot at the time. With how good he's been for us, I would do that trade 10 out of 10 times. Well said, brother. Me as well. He's proven to be exactly what we needed in this rotation on this team. And it could help to round out this rotation to being the best in baseball when it's all said and done, which would be outstanding. 2-2 pitch here. Again, hit foul. Jose Ramirez doing a good job with these sliders off the plate of just getting enough bat on it. He can't get a good piece of the bat on the ball there, but he is doing a good job just getting knocked foul, staying alive. Not trying to do too much with the pitch. 2-2. Steele with the wind. Here's the delivery. Again, fouled back. 98-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. Great job by Steele here, just staying alive. What's up, J.O.? Gets him to swing a little bit out the zone there, but Castillo doing a good job just getting that bat on that ball. He's a tough guy to strike out here. Ethan says, they think the thing about the pitch clock is it will benefit pitchers when they are really in their rhythm. Yeah, it would. True. Outside, ball 3. Ramirez done a good job of scratching this at bat together. Castillo's done a good job of scratching. Ramirez. Yeah. Okay, Castillo. Ramirez done a good job of scratching this at bat out. Hits it. Line drive stroke right at Teoscar Hernandez for out number 2. Put a good swing on it. Great at bat, but Castillo's able to bear down and get him out. I agree on that, Ethan. It's going to help them. Pitchers are rhythm guys. And even some of those guys that think they like to take a little bit extra time, Ethan, I've always thought with some of those guys that are very like meandering out on the hill and they're just taking forever. This ball's hit quickly on the ground. Colton Wong's up with it. Backhanded stab. And that'll be out number 3. So another fast inning here at the top of the 4th inning. 1, 2, 3 for Mr. Castillo as he hums along through 4 innings with 4 strikeouts, 1 hit. Looking dominant. But that's always thought with Ethan, you got these meandering pitchers that'll sort of just kind of, it's out there, they're like they're grazing. You go, man, just if you just more got with it and just got in your rhythm and go, it'll help you. You may be anti it at first, but once you start to feel the rhythm of it and what it allows you to do, there's just less of that getting in your head, thinking things through. It's more of just trusting your arm, your stuff, and your preparation work that you did going into the game and the coach's call with the call. He says on the other hand, it is if they are doing bad, it'll make them do worse and it'll make them tired. It's a good point. That's a good point. That might be another point of the fallout we find with it, Ethan. I think it will be too. The other thing is I think when the weather gets hot, it'll be challenging. You get your 80, 85 degree days in the middle of summer out in those open air stadiums, and you got guys having to hum those pitches up. I mean, they're gonna be done after 5 innings. You're gonna be going to your bullpen at some points, probably pretty quickly. Megan says, you know where I am if you ever need a hand with anything, B. I'm at my laptop for at least 12 hours a day working at the Crow's Nest. Well, hell yeah, Megan. Well, the main thing right now I've got to get Megan that is on tap for the channel that is really a necessity right now is getting the clips out. Finding, there's something that I've said that's worthy of being put into a clip or, that needs to. I just need people to give me the timestamp on it and say, 12:31 and put it in the comment section because then I'll know to just go look for it as opposed to having to kind of needle in the haystack it where I got to listen to my own voice drone on and try to figure out where the good stuff's at. It's hard to know what is the good stuff too. Just like, I'm just talking, but I need to that's the main thing I got to get going on, Megan. Cause that's the thing. If we did that, we could almost double the channel's growth if I was doing that. And it's where I'm really dropping the ball, but I got to stop that. I got to pick that ball up. I got to run with that ball. All right. So the Mariners are going to come back up here into the bottom of the 4th inning. Teoscar Hernandez is going to step up to the plate to start things off. Struck out in the 1st inning. Strike. Nice pitch by Bieber there. Hit it right at the bottom of the zone. Rodney Prescio, what's up, Brando? Good to see you doing Mariner stuff. I had to do it, Rodney. Got to go opening day. I might be back on Saturday, too. Won't be able to do tomorrow night, but I'll try to be. I think we're on Saturday. Oh. Hernandez hits a grounder to third, and he's thrown out. A little wayward throw, but Naylor, the first baseman, is able to pick it, figure it out. Hernandez kind of slowed down there. Can't blame him. Naylor's about 260. And he was looking at that big man jump in the air. Yeah, you can't. I'm not running through that guy on opening day. I got 162 games left. I am not trying to run that big man over. 0-1 here to Cal Raleigh. Ball's bounced up at the plate there. 1-1. Guardians are trying to go as close as they can to a shift with Raleigh. They got that shortstop he's kissing second base. Not quite over that side, but he's kissing it. This ball batted up the middle, off the foot, picked back up, thrown back across the body from third base. Raleigh will beat this one out. Pitcher got his foot on the ball, knocked it high up into the air, and third baseman got it, but went too high. I think if he doesn't put his foot on that, that's probably going to be an out. Shortstop probably picks that up at second base. Bieber kind of created that problem. So the Mariners, again, another hit, another man on base here. Had a few of them. See if they can finally tap into this. When they're going out to check on Bieber's foot. Connor says, what do you guys think of the pitch timer? I'm liking it so far, Connor. Corey says, I'd say go through the draft assessment videos only because those are the best examples of what your assessment was on a player before they step foot on the NFL team. Maybe your viewers put it in a video asking their help. It's a great idea. I will for sure, man. And that's been one that I've thought about specifically doing is going back to the draft ones. Because I do on each of the picks give my opinion on those guys and they're being picking and where I see them going and where my evaluation was of them. So it's a good idea. I'll try to go back and start doing that a little bit. It's a good place to start pulling some of the clips from, and I can use it for the channel too, Corey. Even if it's not for the resume, it can be used for the channel, right? You know, it's good. It's good for content. You know, people can't get that long to the full old draft stuff, and that stuff's 5-6 hours sometimes. It's a lot. Stuff gets buried in there, you know. It's a good idea, man. I'll try to start to pick that up a little bit. That's my big goal this year on the channel is to just start picking up more of the clips, short content stuff. This ball is hit on the ground by Eugenio Suarez, double play ball. Third baseman's up with it. He'll get to the short second baseman, turns it to first. And that will be out number 3. So Mariners do get another man on base, another man left stranded. And we will go into the top of the 5th inning. Top of the 5th inning, and we are less than an hour into this game. We're going to have some quick games this year, folks. Some fast games. I will message you, Megan. I'll let you know. For sure. I'll hit you up on Twitter for what I'm thinking. Connor says, just know you're never alone, brother. You have your viewers who actually care for from what I've seen, and I'm new. So like I said, you ever need help, let me know. I'll do what I can. I'm just not sure what that would be. Oh, I appreciate that, man. And I get more. There's nobody who gets more support than me, brother. Yes, to your point on that, I absolutely do have the people in my backing on that. It feels weird to me to ask people to like help me get to the clips and stuff, you know. And that's the part where I get a little bit. Maybe I just need to get over it. But I do feel weird asking that of, you know. It's because it is so much mine on what I do and what I, you know, so it's hard for me to get to that spot of it, but it's the place that I need to open up because I do. If you look at Connor, I get so many comments in the videos from people when I do post the short stuff of more short content, please get the short stuff. So they're right. I've got to do it. It's the nature of the attention span of YouTube for the most part to get more 5-10 minute clips in there, you know, and they're all right there to be had on my live streams. I just got to pull them off. But to Corey's point, doing them sometimes to pull them off to be able to prove and back up what I've, you know, why should you listen to me? Why is my point like, here is my resume. You know, here's what I said about these guys in the last draft, you know, how many have I been wrong about? How many have I been right about? And I think Corey's right on that. I would trust my hit rate up against anybody, in my opinion. In the last 3 years and looking as deep as I looked at these prospects, I think I've been pretty right on the button I've had few evaluations where I think I've fully really missed on. But that's the place I got to go now. That's the place. It's more right now, Connor, if you have a clip you hear about me on a live stream, either even here or over on the Hawks Nest, strike one for Castillo here on a slider to Naylor. Then just put the timestamp. That's all you got to do. So even you don't even put what it is I talk about in the clip, just put, 12:32 and I'll go back and look up what it was I was saying on that clip and then look to try to get it posted. This one's hit up into the air foul, it looks like. 0-2, Castillo continues and remains to be absolutely locked in. So if you do see those, Connor, let me know. That's the one place that you could help me out with, and I can pull that clip out. 0-2 pitch. Oh, he left that one over the meaty part. Teoscar in pursuit. He picks it up. Hard hit ball there by Naylor, and one of the few times Castillo's kind of left the ball in the middle of the plate. Just couldn't quite do much with it. You know that ball's not carrying too well on a night like this when it's as cold as it is. Ethan says, I think Castillo's hair saved him on that scary hit. Might have. It did look like it hit around that area, didn't it? It's like when you get, hit with a baseball in the butt. It's like the best place to get hit. It's where the meat is. And Castillo, again, working like a machine. He's got this count quickly to 0-2 on Andres Jimenez. Fastball, 1-2. The ball's outside, strike 3. So, nice little K here by Castillo. He's got a nice smile. He's feeling good here. Connor says, get over there's so much time. Get over it. There's only so much time in a day, and you're building a channel, and the legacy media is dying. You know, you never know what can happen. Oh yeah, man, for sure. And I don't worry about it too much. I just it's the place where you feel a little bit bad you're not taking advantage of all the place you could be for growth. And you know, you get probably a little obsessed with it when you do these kind of channels a little bit. To your point, overly so. Ball's hit on the ground, picked up by the shortstop, thrown to first base. That will be out number 3. And so not a lot of runs scored here, but a very quick game flying on through. We are 4.5 innings through this. No runs. 4 hits for the Mariners, 1 hit for the Guardians, no errors. 0-0. But I'm good, Connor. We're moving in the right direction here, you know. And I think eventually Hawks Nest will expand and bring hands on deck and stuff and all that. Yeah, I appreciate it, Megan. If you can, let me know on that. Like I said, all I need is a timestamp. You give me a timestamp on a show, I'll go do the rest. That's all I need. It's just that simply the parsing through of what's good, what's worthy of posting to a clip, what's just stupid and silly, what's, you know, bump it a bump, all that, so to speak. Sam Castillo's looking awesome. He's looking like he's already salivating over that Cy Young. I'm seeing drool coming down the edges of his mouth off every pitch. He's thinking it. Cronus says, I have a scary feeling the pitch clock is going to hurt batters versus elite pitchers. Looks like that tonight, Cronus. It looks like that tonight right now. Oh Lord, boy. It's tough. It's definitely been a little tough tonight. You're not getting them out of their rhythm, are you? Like, you ain't throwing them off let me just step out of the batter's box. He's too locked in right now. No more of that. No more of that. Big Country, I'm so glad Winker's gone. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad Winker's gone. I just did not like that guy as a player. There are a lot of players who rubbed me the wrong way, but that guy, just watching him play the game was like kind of infuriating. All right, Jared Kelenic up to the plate now. He gets it's like a cutter there. Yeah, a little cutter there. Fastball for a strike. 0-1. Inside. 1-1. Angels Athletics 0-0 in the top of the 5th. Hit foul 1-2 there. Credit to Bieber here. I don't think he's had necessarily his same 100% stuff that we're kind of getting out of Castillo. He's definitely had to kind of feel his way a little bit through this outing. That ball's hit on the ground. That ball's going to get through for a base hit on the right side there for Kelenic. Nice to see him come out, hit that ball hard down there. Naylor gave it a dive, but could not get to it. Boy, he's got a little bit of that Bryce Harper kind of softball hitch in his stroke this year, doesn't he, with Kelenic? Just a little bit. We know he likes to tinker. All right, Tommy La Stella. Up to the plate now for the Mariners. Strike. Is Haggerty okay right now? I didn't even mention Haggerty through spring training. What's going on? What's going on with the Swags? What's going on with Drip so hard? Oh, we got him. Kellenic's in motion. He's going to steal the bag. There we go, Jared. That's a great pick by Jared here in a game like this. 0-0 runs at a necessity at this point. You have nobody out. You got a guy in Estrella here with the 1-1 count now. Wonder if Service thinks of bunting him here. If I'm Service here, I would maybe bunt this with the way Castillo's pitching. One run might be enough tonight. And he's going to let him swing, and he takes a strike. Stella, you better roll this thing over, buddy. Do not K. Just You're a lefty. Roll it over. There he goes. Rolls it over to the right side just as I asked him to do. There we go. It's good as a bunt. That will move over Kelnick. Nicely job, Stelia. Nicely done. Nicely done. Very well. Cheer out. I'll just say. Megan says, I will be timestamping the whole Craig Zorn thing, right, B? I will. I don't know. I was listening to more information. Hey, I don't know about Carter, though, if he's going to be the guy they're going to pick. So that's the other part that's got to go through with. 360 inspiration. Sorry, I missed questions on Hawks Nest. No worries. I'm sorry. I might have missed it myself, too. We got a strike one here to Crawford on an inside pitch there. That was a tough one. Nothing he's going to do with that one. Crawford's just going to try. Infield's in on the grass here for the Guardians. High. Good eye there by Crawford. That was right next to the last pitch. And that last pitch was one you just got to leave that one be. You don't want to take that up inside like that right at the hands. Hard to get that ball in play, much less get any lift. 1-1. Outside, another good eye by Crawford here. These pitches are pretty close. And tonight, that umpire on those pitches at times off the plate like that has called that a strike. Infield's mostly up at the grass. Naylor's a little bit back at first base. If he hits it to first, they probably concede the run. High. Ball 3. Can't imagine this is them trying to suddenly walk Crawford to create a double play possibility because you do have Julio Rodriguez looming on deck. Bieber wiping the sweat off his brow. Kelnick takes a couple steps towards home plate. Swing and a miss there by Crawford. He loaded up on that one. That was Crawford's home run stroke. You have that Sylvester Stallone. That's when he swings really hard, that's the noise Crawford makes. He's a big Rocky fan growing up. Little known fact. Little known fact. More you know. 3-2 here now. Crawford giving that bad little wiggle. Hits it hard, but right at first base on a line. I mean, right at it. No way Kelnick could get home at that point. Crawford put a good line drive stroke on it, just hitting it right at somebody. It's kind of tough luck with that one. Sorry, 360 inspiration. I see your question here too. Let me get through these innings. Go fast now with these pitch clocks. So, all right, we got a runner on third. Julio Rodriguez up to the plate now. 2 men out. Bottom of the 5th. Outside, ball 1. Julio hit it deep in his last at bat, but he is 0 for 2 tonight. Oh, he got a good pitch there. He put a good swing on it, but just line drive stroke right out there to right field. They had him well positioned for it. So 5 hits for your Mariners through 5 innings, but no runs. No runs. 360 Inspiration says, what are the best options at pick 20 or 37 for right guard? I'd rather get a Hares now with Evan Bryan signing. Okay, sure, yeah. So best options at right guard, 20 to 37. I got to be honest, 360 Inspiration, it probably comes down to just simply 2 players. There's really not a value there at the guard position for anybody to be taking beyond these 2 guys that I'm going to mention. I have not heard anybody else put anybody else higher at this point. As far as second, I haven't heard anybody put any second round grades on any other guards aside from these guys, 360. So say nothing of picking 20 to 37. I just don't hear anybody applying any other guards up in the second round range. And those 2 guys are Steve Avila, and then you have Osiris Torrance. You know, those are guys that both kind of offer just about the same thing to the Seahawks. Avila offers a little bit more because he's positionally versatile, where he can go to center and give you snaps there at some point if he can't work out at guard. Torrance is a pure right guard. Avila can probably play some left guard too on top of that. But those are the only two guys that are worthy of being second round picks. It's a weak class for guards, 360. And you also don't have guys that fit necessarily. Remember, they're looking for guys that are mobile based and can move. None of these guys that are at the top of the guard ranks in this draft can really move. Avila and Torrance are both more people mover types, blocking a phone booth kind of type of players. So they're worthy of being selected in that range, but at the same point in time, you're not going to feel as excited about them being impact players from the guard position if you do select them, I think. 360, when we're getting Jalen Carter, and when that happens, how good is our defense now? Top 12? Certainly, I think it bases on the rest of the draft being landed right and you adding more defensive talent throughout the rest of the course of the draft, but you have an upside to getting to top 12 with the Carter addition, 360, as long as, of course, he's got the ability to stay on the field and keep things clean and not have any of the character concerns. But you add him with probably like a Maze Smith in the second round, and now you've rebuilt your defensive line appropriately, and you've got already the edge rush, in my opinion, with the three guys you got going off the edge. So, yeah, I think top 12 is reasonable. First pitch from Castillo here in the top of the 6 is a ball, a little bit high. That ball's fouled, 1-1. Chrono says, Haggerty had a thing at the start of spring training, but he should be our only backup until Dylan Moore comes back. Okay, good to hear. Kind of a scary injury last year right at the end of the season. You wonder if that might have lingered a little bit, so I hope he's okay. 1-1 pitch here for Castillo. Ooh. Castillo's not being very fair tonight. It's up at the top of the zone on the black on Zunino. Zunino's just got to be sighing. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? 1-2. High. Ball 2. Rodney says, maybe it's just me, but I'm not a Crawford fan. He's okay. Just kind of like an average strike 3. Fastball. And he even put it right down Main Street there on Zunino, who's shaking his head walking away. I mean, that's a hittable pitch. He gives him a meaty portion of the plate. It's a 94 mile an hour fastball, but the movement on it, it's sliding away from your bat. It's not just the power of the pitch, it's the insane amount of movement with it. One man down, bam, right back with the same pitch there, strike 1. Ball's hit on the ground, 0-2. Boy, Castillo is in mid-season form tonight. Here's the wind, delivery, swing, and hit up into the air. This is going to be playable. Raleigh underneath it, drifting. He's got to run a little bit at the end, but makes the catch. Out number 2. Boy, the way Mariners starting pitching is this year, folks, we might have 2-hour games on the regular. Legit. Like legit. Big Country Crawford's a good guy and a number 9 guy on a contending team. I like him. He's not a problem. Yeah, it's a guy's amazing. He's okay. Big Country, he's all right. Definitely getting excited about that phenom that they signed. You guys hear about that in spring training? Put on a show with batting practice. That kid sounds good, huh? I'm so jealous of Castillo's pitches, just to be able to throw that hard with that much movement and then paint corners. Garden's got no chance tonight. And another foul, 1-2. I mean, I don't know what lineup has much of a chance against this. With this pitch clock definitely fits to Castillo like hand to glove. Ball's fouled away, 1-2. Quan just defensive stroke. Like he's parrying off a sword attack that's coming at him from all edges. 1-2 pitch. Hits it up into the air, skied. Julio is underneath it. Can of corn. Out number 3. We will move to the middle of the 6. 1 hit so far for the Guardians. Steele's got a 1-hitter going to start it off here in this opening game. Let's get him some runs. Let's reward this effort. .360 inspiration. Who's the tackle that you want to convert to a right guard that's a talented player at pick 20, maybe? His name is Darnell Wright. .360 inspiration. Darnell Wright. I think you could definitely move him into guard. But you could do the .360 inspiration. You could theoretically do the same. Like, if you really want to talk about .360, a better route for me on that would be to do Darnell or to do Peter Skoronski if he was there at 20, .360. And move that guy into guard. I like those 2 options way better than I like Steve Avila and Osiris Torrance. But Avila and Torrance are admittedly your name guys. They're the guys that everybody knows about and is aware of will be taken somewhere in the second round, maybe even top of the first because there's so few guards. Yeah, Connor, we're going to have some gems this year is right. Yeah. We're going to get to watch some pitchers locked in this year. Especially if some of these guys step forward, really, really step up. We're going to have a Brave staff this year. You guys remember the old Brave staffs when you had Maddox, Glanville, Smoltz, and then they had Avery as their 4. Robbie Ray will be our Avery. Brando says, speculation from league insiders during Florida's pro days, the Seattle Seahawks could be the team that leapfrogs the Indianapolis Colts and trades up with the Arizona Cardinals to secure Richardson. Wow. I got a Richardson video I've been working on, but I put it down. Colton Wong is quickly 0-1 here. Oh, I got something to show you guys too. I want to show you guys something. I got a surprise for you guys here tonight too. Something I've been talking about. It's one of my offline projects. I would not like that, Brando. I would really not like that. But strike here to Wong. He's 1-2. Couldn't catch up to that fastball. I would be shocked if they did something like that. Very, very, very surprised if they did something like that. But Wong does a good job fouling that ball back. You just got to fall in love with one of these guys. I say about it, just all it takes is you to fall in love with one to get you to trade up. The thing I don't get with that too, Brando, is that then you're going to do it with the Cardinals. Cardinals are going to trade with a division rival. Like they're going to help the Seahawks land their quarterback. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I hope they don't do that, Brando. I really don't. I just don't think that would be a very smart move on their part. Two-two pitch down in the dirt here from Bieber, 3-2. Gutty performance here from Bieber today. See if Colton can carve himself out a walk here to start things. I don't think Bieber's got a walk yet here. Gives him pitch to hit. Line drive, down, foul on the line. Sean loves seeing the glove, Beast Mode and Junior at the pregame ceremonies. Me too, Sean. I was kind of geeking out about that a little bit. I was getting kind of geeked. Line drive stroke right at Naylor. Good swing by Colton Wong. He put the pin on the button, but Naylor right in the right place, right time. Mariners have hit some hard hits here at times. Guardians have just been set up in the right spots. Guard Knight says, would you say Castillo is a sidearm or 3/4 delivery? I'd go more 3/4 delivery. He's got that Pedro Martinez kind of delivery. where he's kind of whipping it. It's more of a whip delivery from 3/4 arm angle than it is purely coming from the side. But the whipping arm angle, the 3/4 that's what gives him all that movement on the fastball. 0-1 to Ty and Ty France, 1-1 outside by the plate. That's the same thing that helped out, of course, Pedro, because he had that same kind of plus stuff, but then everything had extra movement on it because of his arm action. Ty gets another hanger there, and he puts it out deep. This ball's off the wall for a double. Boy, and he comes in safe. They may review this one. Ty did get tagged. He took a long time to get himself to second base there. I don't know if he was kind of slow out in the box. Yeah, he kind of was looking at the box a little bit there. Center fielder did a good job of getting this back in. Straw. Let's see if they get him here. Oh, he's in. He's in. So runner on second, one man down. Teoscar Hernandez up to the plate, fouls this slider off. Bieber left that slider right in the middle of the plate there. He's given some pitches here in this inning so far to be able to hit for the Mariner batters. Hernandez not able to do much with that one, but it had a lot. He's got good movement on his slider too, does Bieber, so it's not necessarily easy even when he's missing the plate. As evidence right there is Hernandez swings and misses right through that pitch. Mariners today 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. This has been a long time issue for them over the last couple of years. In a variety of different lineup iterations, they just can't seem to find the clutch hitting gene within the lineup. Get the guys on, but you can't get them home. 0-2 pitch here to Hernandez, buried down low on the slider, 1-2. Connor says, man, I'm good with AR-15 if we give him the time. Yeah, I'm good with it too. I guess if you wanted to go the AR-15 route, to me, you just should have just gone, to me, the Drew Lock route for a year, called it a day at that point. But there's also maybe potentially the anticipation there that it takes 2 years truly to, this ball's hit on the ground to the right side. Second baseman's up with it, and he will throw out Hernandez at first. Ty France will get over to third. So, I mean, there's some stuff on this that could still be smart with doing it that way, Connor, I guess, with it. But boy, you think about the player you could get maybe instead. But then again, too, as me and Brendan were turning this over last night, the player you're looking at picking at number 5 there, if you don't have a trade back scenario, isn't necessarily the most enticing either. He ain't drop dead. Oh, this guy's going to guarantee make your defense better by getting this guy. Raleigh up to the plate now, takes low, ball 1. Certainly Raleigh had some big moments last year in clutch situations. See if he can bring the first hit up here for the Mariners, help out his pitcher. Raleigh 1 for 2 in this game with a single in the 4th. 2 men out, bottom of the 6th. 0-0. Inside part of the plate there, strike 1. Guardians got Stefan working in the bullpen. 1-1. Raleigh swings and knocks this ball up into the air. This will be playable to left field. Kwan's underneath it. He's got the catch. Out number 3. We are through 6 innings. Another hit for the Mariners. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position in this game. Been just brutal. Brutality. Go Hawks, I'd trade up for Anderson. Yeah, I would be okay with Anderson more than I'd be for the AR-15 Go Hawks, Yeah. That I could at least understand. But the Richardson one with me, with the way you've kind of set this roster up, the bringing Bobby back, there was a route you could go to do the slow approach of a rebuild to say, we'll get our quarterback in this draft. We're still only in year 2 of this rebuild. We want to take the slow approach. A little bit of worry on me on this that they're going to try to, as I say, straddle 2 sides of the fence here rather than really just picking one or another approach. And then you eventually lead that to having neither of the 2 approaches potentially working, because it's hard enough to get one approach to work with the full concentration behind it. Applying two different approaches of, well, we'll compete this year, but we also have an eye to the future with this quarterback that we just drafted. You know, how did this work out for the Packers recently? I don't know, man. Brando says, I don't think it's true and I wouldn't like it. Tony Pauline is the same guy last year saying we wanted to draft that nose tackle Eagles got, and I forget the other guy said. So he had us taking Jordan Davis. It doesn't smell right to me, Brando, and a couple of different reasons. It doesn't. It just doesn't seem, it's possible, but it just doesn't seem likely, I guess. I just can't see it. Rodney, the Seahawks defensive line with Anderson would be awesome. Much as I do love Carter and I loves me some Carter, I loves me some Anderson too. And if you brought him in here, I mean, that's your alpha dog down on the defensive line. That's a core guy you can build around down there. And though I don't see a generational talent, you're still getting a great talent, you know, still getting a great football player. And that'll work. That'll work for this defense. Castillo has been absolutely dealing, and he's been dealing with efficiency here. He got through 6 innings, but he will be taken out for Matt Brash here as start of the year. You don't want to overwork these guys too long. 6 strikeouts for Castillo on the day, only 1 hit. Let's see if Brash can help hold it up for him here. And he throws a slider for a strike here early on in the top of the 7th. 0-0, Mariners and Guardians. Strike. 0-2. Good job by Brash. Just come in, start getting those fastballs going. Don't mess around. Challenge a Guardian lineup that hasn't exactly been hitting too well tonight so far. 0-2 wind and delivery by Brash. Ooh, swung that slider wild outside. Yeah, I'm okay. Go Hawks, I'm saying I'm okay with Anderson trade up. I'm good with that. I can get that. That one makes sense. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Boy, that was a nasty slider by Brash. 1 man down. Tommy says, well, that's expected. Our bats are what I'm hoping to see better this year. Yeah, me too. Me as well. Voodoo says Colton doing it all wrong. You're kicking off the Wong jokes this year. 2 Wong jokes don't make a right. Oh, Lordy. All right, the wine by Brash here, 1-0. Knock foul by Jose Ramirez. Somebody said we could be trading up. What if we trade up to 2 and got Stroud? Too meaty? I could get that one, I guess, a little bit more, Tommy, I guess, because there's a little more certainty in the guy you're getting at that point, and that could appeal to the Mariners. Ball went down the dirt, 2-1 here to Ramirez. It was 0-2 in this game. So that could make more sense. The only thing with that, Tommy, is I just don't buy that Stroud's going to be available at 2. I think he goes 1 to Carolina. I think they're getting more and more connected to him closer and closer, especially after his pro day. 2-1 pitch here by Brash. Strike, 99 miles an hour. Right down at the anklets. Right down them anklets. 2-2. Brash with the wind. The delivery. Ugh. Slider. That's actually a really good pitch there. I didn't get the pitch tracer on that one. Oh, he wound it around. Okay. Nasty movement. Even Raleigh couldn't catch that thing. The thing was sliding so slidey. 3-2 pitch here to Ramirez. 1 out. Swing and a miss. Yeah, nasty stuff, man. You see what I mean? That thing swung so hard. He swung at it. The thing almost hit him. Like where the pitch actually ended up, it just about hit him. He fell on his butt swinging at that pitch, literally, folks. Ramirez, the just nasty slider, starts out over the left side of the plate, ends up 5 inches inside. Brash has got that arm with that. That thing's just a street sweeper right there. That slider. 1-0 here to Josh Bell now. 2 men out. Brash the windup. Inside ball 2. 2-0. Connor, I agree. I think Stroud is the best quarterback in the draft. Strike. Couldn't catch up to the 99-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone there. 2-1. Brash came back and challenged him on that one. Said, here, let's see if you can catch up to this. I'll give you a little bit of the plate. Oof. Gave him too much there, though. Right down Main Street, and he hit it for a base hit out in the right field. Gar says, don't be fooled. Tony Richardson's the prize of the draft. He might be. You might be right about that. Connor says, I always thought that too about Locke. I was always okay about bringing just Locke. If you want to go with the young quarterback, go young quarterback, bring in Locke. Trust Locke to ride out next year, and then go to the young quarterback year 2. You know, I would have been okay with him taking that plan. But if you want to bring back Geno, then you're trying to compete for this year. I mean, otherwise, what is the sense in bringing back Geno, right? 1-0 here to Naylor. Brash definitely not completely locked in with his accuracy, though he's got that stuff that's so crazy he doesn't have to be accurate. He gets Naylor to swing on a ball out of the zone there. 1-1. Slider there inside and low. 2-1. Jose Luis Sahagon says, hey, I made it. Thanks for play-by-play. You're the best, my man. Thank you, Jose Luis. Appreciate you, man. It's good to see you in the chat, too, as well. Brash with the wine delivery. Up high. This ball will hit up in the air. Crawford getting chased. Kelnick coming up. He'll make the catch. Easy enough. Brash gets through the trouble. We are through 7, 0-0 Mariners. It's my pleasure, Jose. My goal this year, folks, is to try to get to 80 games. And I'll tell you, if they're 2.5 hours long, it'll be easy to do this. But the goal is to try to get to 80 games this season on the year for the Mariners as far as the play-by-play. And, you know, eventually maybe you'll be able to long-term do this, the full 162 or at least 130 or whatever. So bit by bit every year we add a little bit more on if we can. So I think we got, what did we do, like 30, 35 last year, something like that. So we're going to double it up this season. Appreciate you, though. Please do hit that like button, folks, if you haven't already. I would appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. Casey McCracken says maybe Pete's the new Brady. Will coach till he's 90. Exactly. He's just in the middle rung of his career right now, Casey. He's just getting warmed up. Could be, man. Like I've always said about him, he struck me as a guy that you're going to have to basically rip the whistle off of his neck to get him to retire. Gio says once we get to the bullpen, it's on like Donkey Kong. I hope so. Bieber gave us we got enough from Bieber tonight. Tommy says, don't forget it could be a massive smokescreen to get teams to think we are taking a quarterback, so somebody leapfrogs us to Arizona. Could be that too, on it, Tommy. We are such in that like espionage mode of the prior draft spot where we're right before the draft, where all of the lying is going on at its maximum rate. And so it does make it harder to kind of pair what is fact from fiction. Kronos 1009 says the Hawks roster screams one last ride. Do wonder if there's a little bit of that with it, Kronos, especially with Carroll. I know I just said, I do think he's a guy you have to drag the whistle off, but he's also a guy that you do wonder at one point in time, you know, does there come a spot where you go, okay, I'm good enough, or do you just try to go to your 85 years old? You know, do you just push it to the absolute end of and you know, he had a good year last year, but that is the thing I wonder as well with that. You never know on that, Casey. And Trevor Stefan will come into the game. 66 games last year, 2.69 ERA, 82 strikeouts to 18 walks and 62 innings of work. So he's a pretty good reliever last year for the Guardians. Eugenio Suarez will step up to the plate. Low ball 1. Eugenio's got a double tonight. Strike outside part of the plate there on a fastball 1-1. Connor says Anderson has the makeup of a Bobby Wagner type personality in the locker room, and that has the most value to me. Understandable, and yes, he does. Completely agree, Connor. A nice slider there by Stefan. Suarez just gets a little bit of it. 1-2. Suarez 1 for 2 with a double. Let's get a ding dong here from Ed and Eugenio. High, ball 2. But I would agree with you, Connor. You listen to the way Nick Saban talked about Will Anderson and his impact in that locker room in Alabama and the responsibility he took as a player. Definitely screams of Bobby Wagner type, a Cam Chancellor type. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on the slider. Right down the middle of the plate. Just for some really nice movement on it. And yeah, Eugenio just could not sync it up. But he looks like that to me too. Wu-Tang says Grandpappy Pete has uppers in his gum. He'll coach till he keels over. It's that, or it's like those nicotine gums things that he's got in his gums. He's got like multiple going. It's something, man. I hope I have that much energy at 70. Strike 1 here to Kelnick. I'll tell you this, the umpire's at least been consistent with that call throughout the night. He's going to give the pitchers an inch or two off the plate. Low ball. I know the pitch tracer has it right on the plate, but man, that thing looked a little bit wide. Kelnick 1 for 2 in this game with a single and a stolen base. One. He hits it up and it'll drift back into the stands. 1-2. 1-2. Reminds me, I want to show you guys something at the next commercial break. One and two. Payoff delivery pitch down low. 2-2. Good eye by Kelnick there. Pretty good at bats tonight from Jared. He got pitched really tough in that opening at bat. Two pitch. Inside. Again, nice at bat here with Kelnick. Draws this count out to 3-2. Tommy Patella on deck. Three-two pitch. Oh, we got a pitch to hit. Sends it high and deep, but it's to the deepest part of the yard. And there's so much space out there in center field in that park. Kelnick gave it a ride, but this is still a pitcher's park, and the center field area might as well be the cornfields of Iowa out there. Nice swing. Got the pitch in the spot that he'd like it, no doubt. Middle of summer, if this is in another stadium, he gives that pitch a ride, that's probably going out. But on a night like this, still in early spring, it just sits down. Tommy Patella knocks it quickly on the ground, first pitch swinging, and he will be thrown out. That will take us through the end of the 7th. Mr. Seawald getting ready to come out for the Mariners. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on for the Mariners. 0-0 through 7 innings. Brandon Schutz, I am here. How are you? I'm doing great, Brandon. Hope you're doing well as well. Liam says, I'm tickled by the idea of trading back from 5 and getting future capital, paying the Russ trade forward from now until the end of time. Why not? Right, Liam? Why not take that as a general, like what would be better for this franchise than to be able to do something like that, where every year you're able to somewhat partially, maybe even, turn out some of the results to help the team, but you're always sort of paying this thing forward a little bit and keeping it going and moving. And I'm with you. I think I would love the opportunity to be able to do that. Even if it means a deep drop back, Liam, because it's an investment for the future of this franchise and an investment that I would have trust and faith in paying off in a big way in that kind of investment. The returns on that investment to me will be worth it. Brandon Schutt says, how far away is T-Mobile Park from your house? Well, Brandon, I'm out there in the east side of the state. So I'm over here in Spokane. That would be about a solid 6-hour ride probably for me to the stadium right now. Rash did make Ramirez look like a fool in that big country. That swing was insane. That's a rough swing, man. Rough swing. Tommy says, the problem with trading up at the top of the draft is unless you go to one, it's bigger risk than trading up in later rounds. Agreed. Would Gino be signed by now if we didn't re-sign him? Maybe. I mean, I don't know that, I think some team would have given him a contract, I think. Yeah, probably, I think. I think he would have gotten a deal out there. I don't know if he would have gotten big money, but I think he would have gotten something. Something. Megan says Pete will be carried out in a VMAC in a wooden box. He won't go before B. But I could see it. I could see it, Megan. I could definitely see it. Wu-Tang Kelnick looking decent tonight, even on that flyout. Still a good stroke. Just got it right down the center of the deepest part of the park. Tommy says Pete may die on the field at this rate. I'm not sure. Even if we fired him, he would leave. He might just pace the sidelines as a water play. All right, Paul Sewald out now here to begin things. Sewald had a solid year for the Mariners last year. 72 strikeouts, 64 walks. You just worry about Paul's, a little bit of the accuracy, getting his strikes over early. He's got an 0-1 count here quickly. To Andres Jimenez. Inside, ball one. Megan says, y'all know the feelings. Yeah, the swing does look good, Wu-Tang. It looks good. Not as much. It looks like it's carrying through the zone a little more flatly, which gives him better coverage through the zone, which means less strikeouts. This is going to be hit up in the air, foul, and Eugenio Suarez is great about tracking down those foul balls in that big territory out there off the third base side. He makes the catch, out number one here in the 8th inning. Who takes us, if it wasn't for that long porch and the marine layer, we'd have this thing in the bag already. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. That marine layer is brutal out there right now. You know it is. It's just got that cold crispiness to the air. Nothing's carrying. Strike one here to Will Brennan. He's got a hit in this game. Single in the third. One of the few hits in this game for the Guardians. Sewald comes set. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Sewald challenged him at the top of the zone there. Brennan didn't have the bat speed to catch up with it. 0-2. Sewald with a set. Line delivery. Foul back. Ethan says the Mariners haven't scored a run in 25 innings. Maybe they never will. It has been a while, man. You and I were both in that stadium for 18 of those innings, too. That was a brutally long game. 0-2 pitch. Swing, fouled off. Good defensive stroke by Brennan there. Was probably a ball, but he's protecting with 2 strikes as one is supposed to. Who takes his Tommy Patella, a.k.a. Tommy Kneecaps? It's that way for the rest of the year now, Wu-Tang. Whenever he's up in the lineup, it's Tommy Patella, a.k.a. Tommy Kneecaps. A.k.a. Tommy 2 times. Strike 3 by Mr. Paul Sewald, and that will set him down there. He doesn't need to waste a pitch, 0-2. He's coming right back with you. Hits the bottom of the zone. That slider, boy, tough pitch to hit there. Beautifully done by Sewald. You want to throw those 0-2 pitches in a place where you got it out of the zone, thoroughly out of the zone, not in a danger place, but you're trying to get the batter to kind of flail at it, and Sewald did there. Zunino up now. Inside, ball 1. Strike. 1-1. Eugenio does make it look very easy as a fielder. He's smooth with it out there at third. Some of those third basemen can make it look real hard, the position. They get the job done, but your boy, they make fielding look tough. He makes it look easy. Swing and a miss there on pitch number 3 there. So we get a 1-2. Seawald coming up a little bit higher in the zone here on Zunino. Playing with fire a little bit there with Mike. If he comes back, another one with that low slider pitch he threw in the last at bat on the killer pitch, on the strikeout pitch. 1-2. Strike. Oh, he hit it up in the air. Like he swung through it. Ooh, dangerous situation there between Crawford and Julio, but Julio takes the ball from Crawford, and that will be out number 3. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 0-0. An offensive show. All right, I got something I want to show you guys. Hold on one sec. I'll be right back. Whew. Let's see here now. Let's see. So you guys know on some of the channels, been following me for a while. I'm just about to release out my book that I've been working on for a really long time. And I got my first mock-up of my book. I'm going to have it changed, though, because I don't like it. Well, I like it, but I want to see your guys' opinion on it. So I'm going to show you guys on the chat what it looks like here in a second. Once the game's through. I'm not going to do it in the game. It's not baseball related. But kind of like to see your guys' opinion on it. So I'm going to, once the game's over with here, I'm going to post this up on the chat and see what you guys think. I'm having it adjusted a little bit, but it's pretty freaky deaky. The guy did a pretty good job on Fiverr that I had kind of put it together. So going to have that thing out this month, hopefully. Seawald looking good, man. The Bomballeros have got the hoses out early this year. John Lee Castillo was absolutely dealing tonight. No doubt about it. He looked every bit. People were putting him as one of the maybe favorites as a Cy Young guy this year. That's what a Cy Young guy looks like. You know, that's what it looks like. Pinpoint with his control, dominant with his stuff, insane movement, ability to attack all over the zone. He can go high, he can go low, he's hitting the edges. It's kind of whatever he wants to do out there, he could do today. Pretty impressive. Megan says, I better get the first signed book of copy of the book, B. For sure, Megan. For sure. Get a few of those made up. I'll probably be just digital initially, but we'll eventually get it to hard copy. I could do a hard copy though, pretty easy with it. Crawford's going to take a first pitch fastball for a strike right down the middle of the plate here. James Karchinachak is on now for the Guardians. Little tiny guy. Crawford swings and knocks this ball foul. 0-2 quickly here now. Crawford 1 for 2 in this game with a single. Oh, 2 pitch here now to Crawford. Come on, Mariners. Let's get something going here. It's rally cap time. Tommy says, good people on Fiverr, me included. Yeah, I've got him doing a redo. I had a couple of notes on his initial mock-up he did because he didn't get a couple of things right. But he's on the right track, I think. It looks pretty good overall. I think I got a good one on this. I might have to do a different one, though, if I don't quite get it because I want this thing to look just a certain way. Boy, Karchinachak threw that ball up over the top, almost to the backstop. They did throw to the backstop on that play. 2-2. Boy, Karchinachak is definitely pushing that pitch clock timer. Here's a guy who's definitely still struggling with it a little bit. Mariner fans up on their feet, beckoning forth their team, saying, now, make it happen here. 2-2 delivery. Crawford hits it foul. We know he can stay alive. Something he does very well. Yeah, Ethan, dude, he's taking his time on this clock thing, man. He's pulling it down all the way to 3 seconds. By the time 2 seconds, he's at 3-2. I mean, he's got a little curveball there, misses. 3-2. But he's taking his time. Karchinachak, with compared to these other pitchers today, this is feels labored now, doesn't it? 3-2 pitch, and he's really thinking it through. Foul back by Crawford. Great job here by Crawford in this at bat. He's brought himself back from a hole in this account. You got nobody out. You'd love to just get a runner on here and try to manufacture something if you possibly can, especially with Julio on deck. And he holds up on the pitch. They will check down to third base, but no, he did not go. That will be a walk for Crawford. Fantastic job by JP here in the bottom of the 8th inning, getting an opening walk. This is what you want to do, and you're just able to keep that swing held up there on that pitch. Carve out a base run. Get yourself on by any means necessary. Any means necessary. Wonderfully done there by JP. Manager for the Guardians is out. Francona moaning and complaining a little bit about the call. He's not liking it too much. Ethan, he doesn't have enough time to get the stuff in his hair. Oh, goodness. I don't know what Francona's mad about. He checked down the line of scrimmage. The umpire checked with third base. I mean, I guess he's just disagreeing with third base. It's on the line. It's close, but it's not. Crawford wasn't completely over the top on the swing. Francona's working him, though. Guardians catcher just shakes his head. He's like, it's opening day, Terry. Come on, man. Zunino's over there oh, dude. Come on, opening day. Let it go. Megan says, I said on that news since last October, B, I could have made big money selling that news, but as always, my loyalty is to you. It is indeed, Megan. No question about that. No question about that. I appreciate you putting the wraps on it. Oof. Fastball right down the middle there for Julio on pitch 1. Julio last time at bat had a really nice pitch on the outer half of the plate, and he tried to drive it. Just couldn't get enough oomph on it to send it out in right field. 0-1 here to him. High. 1-1. Crawford gets his lead from first. Julio 0 for 3 in this game. High and away. Good eye by Julio there. Doesn't get him to bite. 2-1. All right. He doesn't want to walk you here, Julio, and get into the middle of this order. You're going to get yourself a fastball here. He's probably going to go to the outside of the plate again. If I'm Julio, I'm locking in on that outside of the plate with a fastball is where I'm looking. See if he does as well. He does go outside with a fastball, but does miss outside. 3-1. So a hitter's count here, and absolutely, again, where you want to look. Karchinachak has shown you on this at bat over and over and over again. He's trying to hit that outside portion of the plate here with the fastball. That's how they pitched Julio on the last at bat. If I'm Julio, that's where I'm locking in to get a good swing. I'm looking for my pitch in the zone. I'm looking for right in that one spot. And if he can do so, you can do some damage with that pitch. 3-1. I'd look outside fastball, and anything else I wouldn't even touch it. And now they're coming back inside. Smart by the Guardians here. He's lining up inside on the catcher is. Julio swings and fouls it off. Yeah, no doubt he was probably looking outside there. I would have been. Good job by the Guardians there. They're about to go too much on that outside part of the plate. And a smart hitter like Julio eventually figured that out. 3-2. Here's the wind delivery. Julio gets on it, but he's just going to put this up into the air, and that will sky and come back down and be an easy catch for the center fielder. Again, a decent pitch there to put a swing on. Just couldn't quite do enough with it. Might have tried to pull it a little bit too much there and got a little bit underneath it in doing so. Making some Cassell for the Memsby? Sure, yeah. The Mariners find themselves here in the bottom of the 8th now, with one Colton Wong, the new addition, newly ascribed to the Mariners from the San Diego Padres. Can he prove a hero to his new team here? Can he elevate himself in this moment, ingratiating himself to his teammates and instantly making himself part of the crew? We will see here now. 1-0 delivery. Colton gives it a mighty swing. That goes up into left field and drops into foul territory. Mariners pitching has been outstanding today. This one, Howard Cosell, has few and far between seen a pitching performance the likes of which we've seen tonight on the mere 2 hits of the Cleveland Guardians. Luis Castillo showing himself to be the new reiteration of Pedro Martinez. 1-1 here to Colton Wong. The wine, the delivery. That will be high. Great eye by Mr. Colton. He taps the plate, pinwheels the bat back and forth, locking himself in. Karchinacek comes set. The delivery, the wind, another mighty swing, line down the right field side, foul. We have a battle of wills here, folks. 2 men at a crossroads. Only one may progress. Karchinacek comes set. 2-2. He tosses over to first base, keeping a side eye on J.P. Crawford. Pretty good, but Wong team. He was a Padre. He was a Brewer, not a Padre. My bad. He feels like a Padre. Good job by Colt Wong here, knocking the ball foul. Crawford was going on the pitch. He'll have to walk back to first base. Slow and steady there. Carcinogen's going to blow this up, says Voodoo. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. 2-2. Ugh. Nice job. Colton Wong's doing a great job here of fighting these pitches off. That had a lot of movement to it. That curveball was bitey. That had some bite. Even he does look like an annoying frat guy. He looks like he's really tightly wound, you know? Another curveball. Colton able to stay off of it. Nicely done by Colton, much like we saw with the JP at bat. Wong doing a good job here of just manufacturing this at bat a little bit. Coming back from behind on it, keeping your eye close, fighting off the tough pitches. Let's see if he can grind out a Naylor trying to psych out JP. Nice job, Naylor. That was stupid. What is this, Little League? He tried to do the old, I couldn't catch it. He threw it over me. Oh, it's down the line. You should run to second. 3-2 pitch to Colton Wong. Oh, he hits him inside. Hits him right there on the elbow. Sean Lee says, fun fact, Kellenick has a better batting average than Julio so far this season. There we go. There we go. All right. Ty France time. Uche says, we thought this was going to be a quick game. Now it's going to be 3 hours. It's going to elongate out a little bit now. A little elongation. It's getting good. This is when we start to put feet to the fire and find out who will stand tall against the storm. Megan, I should have asked for Vin Scully rather than Howard. I can't do Vin. I can do a little Vin. I probably can have my Howard probably becomes Vin. Woo! Karchinacek, get a little wild here. Almost threw that one out into the Puget Sound. 1-0. Ty France, 2 for 3 in this ball game. A double, a single. A man that, of course, has been hit by a pitch 48 times over the last 2 seasons. Literally. 1-0. Interesting the Guardians didn't maybe go to the bullpen here. Fouls that pitch back. 1-1. But they're going to trust in the Karchinacek. The Karchinacek. 1-1 pitch here. France wiggling that bat. Getting set. Hits it. High and deep, sky to right field, opposite field, that ball's out of here. Home run, Ty France. 3-1 shot into our right field. He clubbed that one right down the line. It was kissing the line all the way down the field. It didn't know if it was going to go fair or foul. You didn't know if it was going to drop just inside the fence, but it had just enough on it that marine layer couldn't quite knock it down. He didn't quite hit it high enough to get into the marine layer and able to put it out into right. And quickly, it is now 3-0. Seattle Mariners here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ty France coming through with a 3-for-4 ball game to start things out in game 1 for your Mariners. That is great to see. Both in guys in France and in Crawford last year, we saw 2 of those guys kind of wear down over the course of the season a little bit, fighting through injuries and just finding themselves a little bit diminished as the year went along. Certainly the turnover of the year now and coming back to a new season and fresh bodies, fresh legs. They're both probably feeling pretty good at this point in time. Ty France now hitting 750 on the year. Let's go Ty with an Oppo bomb. An Oppo bomb. And Ethan says, and now we have Senior Smoke, the fire breather in the bullpen, ready and waiting. We do. Munoz is ready. He's prepared. Megan says, this may be a dumb question, but can a pitcher be changed mid-pitch? I think you mean mid-at-bat, Megan. Obviously, mid-pitch, you can't do that. But mid-at-bat is what I think you mean. And yes, you can do it as a mid-at-bat thing. 100%. 100%. Doesn't happen often, though. It's very, very rare. Liam, what's up, man? ADL, Ty's that dude. Ty is that dude. Hell yeah. Coming up big. And he's got such a level stroke. It's why he gets such good contact on baseballs. There's no real lift with Ty's stroke. Everything's coming through that zone perfectly level. So even when you get a home run like that, what's killing guys tonight is we're hitting these guys, seeing these guys hit these moon shots. Julio's hit a couple of them tonight. And that's when you're getting up into that marine layer and allowing it to really work its magic and knocking down the ball. But you knock that thing out on a line and it's just traveling out at that point. Doesn't have that chance to get up there at that point. You're sort of getting below the marine layer a little bit. It's like flying below radar. It's kind of a little bit what Kelenic did on that. Just right down the line, but great job. Great piece of hitting. That's hard to do that. That's hard to get that much power on a ball going that far opposite direction. Connor says, well, I live in Little Falls, Minnesota, so I like the Vikings as well. Always have, even while living in Vancouver, Washington. It's understandable, Connor. If I was from Minnesota, I would be too. Looks like he turned that team over a little bit. 0-1 here now. Del Los Santos. Enel de Los Santos is in the game for the Guardians. 61 strikeouts in 53 innings last year. 17 walks for De Los Santos. Teoscar Hernandez up to the plate. 1-1. Hernandez 0 for 3 tonight. Got a good pitch. Hernandez has had some pitches tonight to hit. He just hasn't been quite on them. Fouls that ball out, or missed. I think he missed it, actually. One and two now to Hernandez. One out. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Megan says, I ask as in cricket, the bowler must finish the sixth ball before being changed. Yeah, you can do it mid-pitch, Megan. And you can take, I think, a batter out mid-batter if you really wanted to. But it's something that they don't do. There's not a lot of reason to do it. You know, if you're going to make the change of a batter, you would just as soon as make that change prior to the at-bat. All right, up comes Cal Raleigh now with 2 outs. He puts a big first pitch swing on this and sends it up high into the air. Oof. Third baseman was giving chase and just kind of casually. Not a great effort there by the third baseman, man. I'm the pitcher on that third baseman there. I'm like, dude, you maybe like dive for that or something? He just kind of flipped out his glove and just sort of put a half-handed approach. He was kind of right on that. Strange. Oh, 0-1 now here to Cal. He hits this again up in the air. He's kind of, all night tonight, it's like kind of been going up into left field, just lifting it up into left on his at-bats. And that will be out number 3. So damage is done. Mariners put up 3 runs on the board here in the bottom of the 8th, 3-0. Munoz will come out to hopefully try to close this up, seal this deal off. Sean Lee says, Francis telling Evan White, sorry, buddy, but first base is mine. That's right. Evan getting that little deal extension he got. And Fran's like, hold your horses. I ain't done yet. Yeah, it's officially Donkey Kong. Let's go. I just remember God, Kid, Liberty, Jane, and Noah are their game tonight. Oh, nice. Three more outs, big country. First win of the year. First beginning step of a World Series season. All right. J.O. says that's essentially the same play Eugenio made look easy twice tonight. Well said, J.O. I agree. Ayo gets out there, and the thing about Ayo is it's the jump. I mean, he's kind of fast enough with it a little bit to get to it, but it's really, he gets those jumps on those foul balls in that territory. So he's already out of his stance going 100 miles an hour, where you saw with that one, that guy started to try to rev up the 100 miles an hour as he was in pursuit of the ball. I'd be giving him a side eye look if I was a pitcher, though, on that. I'd be like, what? Like, what was that? What was that? What was this? What was this? Oh, I tried. No, you didn't try. You did this. You did this. Even look at it. You didn't even look back at it. I tried, man, all right? It's cold tonight. I can't. What does being cold have to do with you trying? I tried. I had to give him stuff in the dugout. Like, hey, so I got that out, but you laid me out on that one. Sold me out on that one. Megan says, I'm going to put on the record Hawks for the Super Bowl and Mariners for the World Series in 2023. Mark it. That'd be awesome. Wu-Tang says, Mariners don't like to lose on opening night. No. No, we don't. Liam says, what are some of the other important rule changes other than the pitch clock? Well, no shift, Liam, is the main one. And I think that they made the bases a little bit bigger at second base, right? Did they make the bases just a little bit bigger? Those are the only ones I'm aware of. But it's both a pitching clock and a hitter's clock too, Liam, because you got to get in the batter's box by the time a certain point as well. All right, Munoz is out onto the stripe here, and you get a first pitch ball from Munoz. 64 games last year, 2.49 ERA, 4 saves. He does become your closer now. For a little easy ground out here to Crawford. He will throw him out there at first. 1 man down. 2 more. Let's go. Let's go. Sean, Felix had some impressive opening day winning streaks. He did. You always had a lot of hope after Felix's opening start, didn't you? I was like, here we go. This is the year. This is the season. Munoz coming set now. 1 man down. Stephen Kwan up at the plate. Come on, that was a strike, right? Ah, they're calling that a ball, huh? Is the electro ump here yet? Stephen Kwan 0 for 3 with a fly out in the 6th in his last at bat. Strike. Nice pitch by Munoz there. He's staying on the black with Kwan here through the first 2 pitches. 1-1. Kwan knocks it foul. 1-2. Yeah, I'm ready for Robo. Robo time. 1-2. Oh, it's Kwan hits to the left side. Out. There we go. 2 men out. Nice job by Eugenio closing fast there. Kwan can run. Slow little grounder to the left side. He gets enough just to get him out. Mariner fans are up on their feet. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th inning. Opening game of the season. Munoz comes set. Ball 1. I do love the control by Munoz so far to start things off tonight. He is right on the black with these pitches. Much like with Castillo, you got a guy that's a power pitcher like this hitting in spots like that. Good luck. Good luck. 1-1. Munoz set. Ball's hit on the ground. Finds a hole there on the left side. Crawford gave it a dive, but that will be a base hit. Left that ball up just a little bit high there, did Munoz. Crawford almost got his glove on it. Great effort by JP. All right, 2 men out now. Jose Ramirez up to the plate, and he just crushes this ball down the line. This is going to drop in for a base hit. So 2-man double there for Ramirez. Munoz now will have the tying runner step up to the plate. Man, just let Ramirez get his arms extended on that one. One more. Come on now. Get a little bit nervous now here. 2 men out. Trust your stuff, man. Just get the ball a little lower here. Stay on the black there. Not ideal. You got the 4-hitter of the order up here now for the Indians in this position. Ball gets down. Man for third base will not try to come down to the home plate. Munoz just tried to kind of overthrow that one a little bit. Cal's got to turn that glove over. Got a little lazy with it. 1-0. Josh Bell up to the plate for the Guardians. Strike. Swung right through that one. Bell 1 for 3 today. Munoz gave him a lot of movement there on that pitch. 1-1. Low. Ball 2. Two and 1. Pitch hit foul. 2-2. So Mariners up 3-0. 2 men out. Top of the 9th. We've got game time. Tying runner up at the plate. Munoz with the delivery. This ball's hit on the ground. Nice stop there by Ty France. He's going to get the ball over to Munoz, who comes over to cover first base, and that will be for the win. The Seattle Mariners close off the first game of the year. 3-0, starting off a season of hope and bright ambitions in all the right fashion. Castillo absolutely winding himself a gem here tonight. Clutch hitting by Ty France with a 3-for-4 night. Mariners offense was actually pretty active with 7 hits on this evening. Just couldn't quite get runners in throughout the course. It all still does come back a little bit to that long ball, doesn't it? Well, whatever gets the job done, whatever gets this team to get these wins stacked up. But a hell of a win this opening game against a very good Guardian team that had 90-plus wins last year. So a fantastic job done by this Mariner Ball Club. In many ways, they're showing you tonight a little bit of what you're going to probably see on the year from this team and the way that they go about winning their ball games. You come out with the great starting pitching. You field and your defense is up to snuff. Everybody looks good there. No errors on the evening, for instance, there. You're going to come through and then still probably at times rely on that home run ball. You're going to have guys, I think, from Hernandez to Julio to Kelnick to Raleigh that will hit 30-plus home runs on the year. And so runs are going to come from that place of things. But solid opening victory here for the Seattle Mariners. A well-played game. It went by really fast. And certainly still the clutch hitting thing was showing up from last year here in this game. But overall, you feel good about this opening win here. Nicely done. And boy, Ty France put a hell of a swing on that home run hit. That wasn't just merely the pitcher, hanging a ball up over in the middle of the zone and then he hammers the zone. That's a pitch that's a fastball out off the plate, maybe an inch or two off the plate up high. So both off the plate and high, and able to take that pitch and put it out into right field seats, still able to get power on it on a night where it was obvious that the ball just was not carrying in that stadium. This obviously still early in the spring where it's not warmed up like it will be when we get to the summer and things are really cooking, and then the ball will start to go out a little bit easier. Adolfo Alvarez says, "Saludos desde Venezuela. Saludos to you too, Adolfo. Thank you so much. Appreciate you." Duran says, "Mariners clearly going to continue having one of the best defenses in Major League Baseball. Much like it is with football or any other sport. Baseball is one that is constructed on building a great team, not from one great strength. Not from we have this super offense, and that's what will carry our day through. It's through building up the various parts and portions of the team and making strengths all the way down the line. You have legitimately a top 3, if not the best rotation in all of baseball. You've got probably a top 5 potential offense in all of baseball. You have a potential top 5, top 3, maybe the best bullpen in all of baseball. And you're going to hit as many home runs probably as just about as much as any team in the sport in addition to that. You take those, 4 or 5 markers alone and put them together. To me, that's a team that's winning 95, 100, 105 games. And that's absolutely a team that's going to make noise when it comes to playoff time. That's how you build a great team. That's how you build a World Series contending team. That's how you build a team that can take down this big dog known as the Houston Astros. Let's go. Let's go. Sam the Great 2-hour game. That's fast. I like the 2-hour games, huh, Sam? Not bad. Not bad. Kraken beat the Ducks? All right. Let's go Kraken. Daniel W. says, going to be a great season. Look forward to the M's coverage. Thank you, Daniel. I'm going to be doing a lot of these games. And especially when they're not going to have to be 4.5, 5 hour envoys of games, it's easier to do these a little bit more as the bite-sized kind of way that they're going to be a little bit now. So I liked it. Houston lost tonight. Guess who's in first place? Your first place Mariners. Have I said that yet? Your first place Mariners. Crota says the defense today, we kept getting people on base and we're mere feet from hitting 3 separate home runs to put us ahead. And our pitching is in top form already. Well said, man. Well said. I agree. Very much agreed. Sam the Great says the Rangers look good today. We can't sleep on them. We'll see. We'll see where they're at. See where they're at with this one. And yeah, Connor, you don't want to see us in the playoffs in this pitching. Especially if these bats can get live enough. If we can get these bats live, we can get the bats cooking. And then you're really going to have to look out. You know? And Kalnick tonight, I think, put some really good at-bats together. Some encouraging at-bats. Building more upon, I think, what you saw from him in spring training. And he remains a big key in this lineup to what they do. You know? So they're on the right track. Daniel, did they speed up games? Yeah, Daniel. So they've put a pitch clock in now, Daniel. So, you know, these pitchers they can't walk around the mound and lollygag their way around things. They've got to come up there and they've got to start dealing. And if they don't, there's a price to be paid. So you got to, it's going to make these games go a lot faster, Daniel. You're going to get a lot more 2-hour, 2.5-hour games, especially when you have pitching matchups like this in this game between two aces. It's going to go like bingo, bango. Washington Quest says we're on pace for 162-0. Yeah, I mean, those numbers hold up too. You know, that's not a sample size at all. That's just merely facts. And I agree, Daniel. I think it's awesome. I think it's going to help the sport. It's going to help the sport grow. It's going to bring people back to it that they don't have to have as much of that investment in on it. I think it'll get people, it keeps the action going. We saw it today, even when there weren't hits hitting happen. The pitching was coming. It's just the one throw after another. So it just keeps things moving. Keeps things moving. Connor says if Kelenic hits his stride, it's GG for the AL West. You heard it here first. Agreed, man. Agreed. Kelenic is the key. He is the X factor, as Ethan says. Megan says, my godson Noah just FaceTimed me. He's so excited. Nice. Tell Noah I said, what's up? Tell him I said, hey. All right. Well, I promised you guys I want to show you this one thing because I wanted to show it to you. So let me see here. I think I go like this. And, ooh, that didn't work. That wasn't working. Let me try something else here. Why wouldn't this show up? Okay. Let's see if that works. There we go. All right, let me find this picture thing so I can. Let me find this picture. I want to show you guys my cover deal before we sign off here tonight. So let me bring it on up. Bring it on up. There we go. Give you guys my rough draft here. My rough draft. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Holy moly, that's way too big. Oh, wow. I'll have to do it another time. I gotta make sure I don't have anything weird on it. Oh, is that him sending me that? All right. His weird stuff. His weird stuff. I know this is probably not awesome. This thing's huge. It's big. It's a big cover. So I want to show you my guy's book cover. This is the new book I've been working on for years. So you can see the guy's crawling out the eye. I got to get the eyelids changed and the titles done differently on it. So titles aren't how I like. No eyelids. Should be a reptilian looking eye, not a human eye with the globe around it and the guy crawling out. Daniel, I'm finishing up a book. So I have been working on this book for about 13 years, even before I began the channel. So my background's writing. So I actually come as a writer background. And so I've been putting this book together. It's kind of like my big, what do they call it? You know, labor of love, I guess is what you call it. It's hard to capture what it's about, Connor. It's kind of it's like an Odyssey journey for a character, you know. It's kind of like going through a crazy adventure, but also dark. It's really dark. So it's not like a Harry Potter book stuff. It's like, it's going to be a very, very, very dark book, which is why that this was a little bit too, it kind of captured it, but not quite where I wanted it. I don't want the eyelids. Those look weird. Just the eye with he's redoing it. So I'm having him do the revision right now. And then I want the titles to be like, they pop off like 3-dimensional looking, you know, from the titles aspect of things. So, Daniel, I'm hoping to have it posted to Amazon. It will be on Amazon this month. So I am going to have you guys, I will update you guys and let you know as soon as I have it posted. I just have to finalize this cover and get it finely tuned, you know. So you can see he's got a little demon trying to pull him down from behind there on the front. So I want to get a couple more demon arms in there, maybe like one more pulling on his arm, one pulling on his hand, you know. A couple little things to adjust on it. But this month, within April is my goal to get this thing posted out. And I don't know if it'll be good. Can't promise you guys it's good. So I am saying it's a good book, but I promise you guys I've been working on it for 14 long years. And I definitely put my best effort behind it. So whatever that equals out to, man. So, but I'm a writer in my background. It's what I love to do. I think as much as anything almost as much doing the channel. So that's where I came from on the backup of it. What's up, D-boy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. And thanks, guys. I appreciate you for being willing to order once it comes up, Daniel. I'll definitely let you guys know as soon as I got this thing finalized. I just need to get a little bit more of the cover. I need to get a little more perfected. There's too much eyelid there. I don't need the eyelashes. Just the eye with the reptilian eye. And then it's a globe like that. Megan says, so proud of you, B, from one writer to another. So happy. Thank you, Megan. I'm stoked about this. I'm hoping it's as good a book as I think it will be, but you never know, of course, until people read it. And you never know if it's ever going to be as good as it is in your brain. You know, in your head, it's this one thing, but. Connor says eyelids can go for sure, but the eye is sick with the earth. Yeah, that's going to keep. So the earth's going to keep like it is, but instead of it being a round iris, I want the reptilian iris, which is more of the diamond shaped, right? So it's got that circle to it right now, and I want the reptilian view of it where it goes like that, you know. And then he's crawling out of that, but then the globe around it, and then just no eyelid itself at that point. D-boy, Brandon, you got a book coming out. What's it about? So yeah, it's basically just a journey of a guy like uncovering truth and reality. And as he uncovers, the more truth he uncovers, the more reality gets darker and darker for him. And it sends him on a journey of, I don't want to say like, it's not even a journey of discovery kind of thing. It's like a journey of discovering the truth kind of thing. And so it sends him into a place of going down a dark road. So it's that's why I don't want this book. It's a little bit like almost got like the Carmen Sandiego vibe or something coming. I want a little more of it's got to be a little bit of the darkness imbued a little bit in what it's got within it. It's kind of a dark book. So I don't want to missell it. Don't missell that thing. Daniel says, did you see Tony Pauline say an insider said from the NL coaches meeting that he had a feeling the Seahawks would trade up to 3 to draft Anthony Richardson? I did see it mentioned, Daniel. We talked a little bit about it today on the stream. It didn't entirely make a lot of sense to us as we were unpacking it. And I know Tony is somewhat connected within the league. As I also say right now, with us being 3 weeks out of the draft here, Daniel, we are fully into the espionage mode of what is the truth, what is fact, what are teams really intending to do as teams try to kind of play some of those games to get the players they want to get. It's, I suppose, in certain respects makes some sense, but with the Geno signing and then especially with the Lock signing in addition to it, to me, it makes less sense. I know there's this whole thing they'll say on the surface of it of, well, signing Drew Lock and Geno doesn't mean that we won't still take a quarterback number, bop 5. But I mean, yeah, it kind of does. If you want to go 5, you want to pull that route with it, then maybe, maybe you don't sign one of those 2 guys at that point. It's a little odd for me on that standpoint. They're looking to have 3 quarterbacks on the active roster kind of at that point, just for the hell of it. It just hasn't added up fully for me. Megan did keep my secret on that, Ethan. I wanted to make sure I had the book done. I didn't want to talk about it too much until it's just ready to go, I want it to be like a fun surprise. Wu-Tang says got some Dark City vibes to it. Hell yeah. Yep. You got it's the Dark City vibes would be a good way of going to it. Obviously, there's some kind of, you could put some sort of Matrix-y vibes to it a little bit. So if you like the Matrix, there's certainly a little bit of that in this, though it's in a different place. There's not a simulation theory kind of thing built into the book, right? Like that one was. It's not that. Reality is reality, but the reality of understanding reality, and what is truth and what is real, and starting to get to the depths of stuff, Brando says, I know it's just a title, but it's awesome. When did you know what you name it? The name came along pretty early in the process with it. And so, it's obviously playing a little bit on what we have as far as the zeitgeist in the modern age of woke and being awoke and and this ain't a reference to that, of course, but there is references to it in other realms of discussion and interests and subjects, right? And so it's the, if you have a presented reality in front of you that is to be made and viewed and looked at a certain way, but there's a thin layer beneath it that goes another direction with it. It's a little bit like, also, if you guys ever watched a movie called They Live back in the day, really underrated James Carpenter movie, it's kind of schlocky. It's kind of got some B movie elements to it, but the same kind of, structure of an idea beneath it a little bit. But yeah, Brando, it's just about awakening to real nature, right? Being you're in a certain nature that's almost one to where you're hypnotized and in a state of being hypnotized to being now active and awake. And it's the character becoming into that state of going from place of understanding the world at a certain level and, oh, geez, this is how it really is, The fairy tale versus the reality. Daniel W. says, how was the inability for a team to shift? Did you like it? I didn't get a chance to watch the game, so I didn't catch the changes. It didn't feel like tonight, Daniel, that there was a lot of points that I thought that it really came into play much tonight. I mean, if anything, there were probably balls that were gotten to tonight that wouldn't have been gotten to if teams had been shifting. It seemed more to reverse in the inverse fashion tonight, Daniel. And maybe that was because you had two pitchers with plus stuff, so guys were going the opposite way a little bit more often rather than really trying to pull it. But it didn't seem to impact it much tonight. I didn't see it, if at all, in my opinion. Even a guy like Cal Raleigh that was dealing with all of those shifts throughout the course of last year, he was hitting everything opposite field. It was weird. Kelly says, apparently Brendan was having trouble streaming. Oh, that sucks. Sometimes those technical issues pop up out of nowhere and they're hard to pinpoint on the fly, Kelly. They just kind of come up randomly. Jackson Shore says, thoughts on Castillo tonight? Absolute nails, Jackson. I've long said that my comp for him has been Pedro Martinez, and he showed you why tonight. He's going to hit 97, 98 on the gun, and he's hitting that with movement that pitchers just cannot establish when they're throwing that hard. The harder you throw as a pitcher, the more likely it is your ball's going to go straight when you're pumping it up at that speed. Castillo's kind of like this too, but he gets a lot of movement in there with that 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and then he can work everything off of that pitch and does so. And being he's a guy at this point that's not some young guy, he knows what he's doing out there, Jackson. He's working from a purposeful approach. He knows when to challenge a hitter on the rising fastball at the top of the zone. He knows when he needs to slide to bring in the slider underneath at the bottom of the zone. He knows which corner he needs to work on a given batter and attack their weaknesses. He just goes right after them all night tonight, Jackson. The pitch clock was in his favor as much as anything, it seemed like. But he was really pinpoint, I thought, with his control right from the start. Didn't take him much time. It took him through the first three pitches of the game to find himself and figure out where he was at. And then, bam, he was locked in and ready to go. So, he showed you tonight why he is a Cy Young Award, front runner, why they made that trade, why they signed him to that extension, because this is a top of the rotation arm. This is a true ace. A guy that was playing in a bandbox stadium in Cincinnati prior to coming here, which probably falsely inflated a little bit of his stats, making him maybe not look quite as dominant as he's going to look in this stadium. And make no mistake about it, Jackson, this stadium fits Castillo so well and what it's going to do for him. And it's a great pairing. It's a great pairing, and he sits at the top of this rotation, which was very likely Jackson to end up as one of the best in baseball. But you have a 97, 98-mile-an-hour fastball that's going to move with 5 to 6 inches of movement as it's crossing the plane to the plate. that at times is going to be impossible to hit, especially when you can come off of that movement going sideways to sideways with getting the rise. We're getting that rising fastball that then is basically starting in the zone. And by the time the hitter is swinging, it's 2 to 3 inches up above the zone. And they're going right underneath it essentially as it's rising up. Not to mention, even if they do hit it, they're not going to get solid contact on the ball at that point. So really phenomenal pitching performance tonight. And he was absolutely laser locked in. Ethan says, I have a Star Wars short film script. Only 3 people have seen it. Very much a secret. I know how that goes, man, Ethan. You know, I wrote scripts and screenplays for 10 years and tried to get some stuff done my end, and it was really hard. And it's tough when you write stuff and it hasn't been read or anything like that. It's tough, man. I feel you on that. You know, but if you love to do it, you stay on it. You just stay on it, and trust it will break through for you in a lot of ways. D-Boy, Brandon, are you big on conspiracy theories? I am. I mean, they're getting a little bit now. The problem with the theories side of this, D-Boy, is that when you have theories back, let's say 15, 20 years ago, you know, people that would be into this type of stuff a little bit like myself would be more into the fringe edge of things. Now it's been sort of taken over by political parties. To both sides have kind of started to try to get their, it didn't used to be a political thing, and I don't look at it through a political lens of things, but yes, very much so. There's going to be a lot of conspiracy rot within my book, in how it bears out. And we'll be, it's this month, D-Boy. So I'm releasing it inside of this month of April. I'm just working on the cover right now. So you can see right here, D-Boy, I'm working, this is my cover I've got going. I got to get a revision done on this one. This one was good, but it wasn't perfect. And it's got to be perfect, you know. James Tomlinson, I have to listen to the game at work. I stopped in to say, go Mariners. Go Mariners, James. Thank you, man. Hope you're doing well out there. Good win. Fun win. And you draw, I love our rotation too. I haven't felt this good about the rotation since maybe 2001. And even this rotation may far surpass out that one. It does with its power arm potential. You know, that 2001 rotation, that was with some guys in that rotation that were good arms. And Moyer, in a case like Moyer, you had not a great arm. Just guy got by with moxie and intelligence. But now you've got the power arms and you got the upside with it. This rotation could turn into being pretty deadly. Yes, Megan, I meant John Carpenter. Too much football in the mind, Megan, you know, thinking about the old guard. There's an old John Carpenter flick called They Live, which is a good one. Have a good night, Connor. Daniel says, when are we getting the conspiracy theory podcast stream? I might do a like BitChute Rumble thing on that side of it, but I wouldn't be able to do it on YouTube, Daniel. You know, even saying the C word and T word together on it probably gets me clipped on some algos. So you got to be careful on the tube with it, man. You know, it's like you're not allowed to go that area, but I'd probably have to create up on a different site and go live from a different area of things. If I did something like that, I might at some point with that. If the book gets to be something that people like and enjoy and want to talk about, then I'd be down to do it. Nitro a bit late. How'd the game go? It went really fast, Nitro. I mean, it flew by. You know, you had both pitchers really dealing. Castillo was nearly unhittable. Bieber was a little more hittable, but he was really just gritting it out and gutting it out. And then you finally got into their bullpen. And you weren't able to even though you're getting some hits throughout the course of this game, again, you're having some issues like last year, Nitro, where you couldn't hit guys in from base. You weren't getting guys in on scoring position. I think we had 7 runners left on base before Ty France hit the home run. You were 0 for 7. But then France got the big home run at the end, hit it opposite field. You went up 3-0, brought your bullpen in. Your bullpen closed it out with 3 innings of scoreless work. And the game was over at that point. That's all it took. But Castillo was absolutely dynamite. Daniel says that's a really interesting point. Conspiracies didn't used to be confined to political parties. We should start a conspiracy about that. Absolutely. Because when you start to associate with the political party, then it's again just another way to kick out the legs of the truth of it, right? Because now it becomes something that's political, which becomes now about, just like with sports, rooting for teams, but I don't look at it the way I've looked at in my past history of looking into this stuff. Never looked at it through the view lens of a political party, one way or the other. It kind of surpasses that, Big Country, I think this is the best rotation we've ever had. I think it's probably is Big Country. Absolutely has the most potential. And it's not empty potential of guys that are like, well, he's not, 22. Maybe when he becomes 26, he'll eventually round out. These guys are ready to hit right now. They're ready to go right now. The young guys are. So I certainly think from a talent standpoint, you've never had a rotation that is this good. And we could end up finding out to be this is the best year. And as we had in 2001, that was a hell of a year for our starting rotation. Wasn't it, Big Country? I want to say we had like the most quality starts in the league from our starters during that season. And so you're probably going to match that again this year. Sam the Great says, Brandon, cool book title. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Megan says, OB, I meant to finally tell you I joined Patreon. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate you doing that. Kind of getting a bit of both going with it. And we're going to start, as I said on that too, Megan, to expand some of those benefits over there between the Patreon and the membership. Specifically getting some other live streams going, even if they're just a little bit shorter live streams, We're getting a couple more going. Megan says, I haven't seen Lay Live in years. Must rewatch. It's a great film, Megan. And it feels more and more pertinent with time. It was a little bit at the time like, oh, that's silly. Now it's starting to feel a little more eerie as you watch it. And the 2001 rotation was amazing. All 5 never missed a start. Most had career years. They did. Yeah, even our 5th starter, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Even he had a good year that year. But yeah, we were that whole rotation was nails in there. Moyer getting his last kind of really good run. We had not Felix, but Freddie Garcia rolling at that point. D-boy Brandon get an OnlyFans. I don't know. Things will probably have gone pretty wrong for me if I get to that stage of things, D-boy. Jackson says, love the Gary Payton, Marshawn, and Griffey were at the game, such legends of this city. I was kind of getting kid geeked out when I saw those guys were all together, especially Griffey in there with Gary. I was like, oh, hell, this is going to hit me in the feels a little bit. It did, Jackson. It really did. It was cool to see. Smart of the Mariners put something like that together, and Marshawn was having a ball out there. Daniel says, not to go into politics, and I'm not a Trump guy, mind you. I didn't vote for him, but seems interesting he is indicted a year before the next election. They don't want him to run, but we don't need to talk politics. Oh, no, it's all good. No worries. The main thing I stay out of with politics is I think that it's just used from my standpoint of theater. It's just used as much to, it's like another soap opera for people in certain respects, but it's like WWE a little bit to me, from my standpoint with it. But that's a whole nother show to go into. Jackson, next off season, you comfortable with giving Shohei whatever he wants? You don't have any real bad contracts on the books. You have set yourself up with giving out the deal you've given out to Julio to accommodate a deal like that for a guy like Shohei. And the value he gives you is pretty tremendous at that point. And if he eventually has to stop doing one or the other, he still gives you an amazing player who maybe gets a little bit better, and just the other thing that he has to go concentrate on if that's the way that eventually that goes. I'd be in on it. I think they've set themselves up with it to get it done. John Halama. Was it John Halama? It was the guy that didn't have plus stuff at the end of the rotation. I don't know if it was Halama though. I think it was the other guy. I might be thinking of the 4th starter. He was only here for like a couple of years. Jackson says, remember when Marco was our ace? My, oh my, how times have changed. Yeah, it seems so long ago, doesn't it? And I'm glad we signed Julio too, Sam. And a great signing at that works both for team and player. Daniel says, wait, Griffey, Marshawn, and Gary Payton were all out on the field together? That's awesome. Yeah, they were all doing the first pitch of the game. It was great, Daniel. Marshawn was right next to Griffey, and they were all smiling and laughing. Gary right next to him. It was cool. Very cool moment. D-Boy, Brandon, how do you feel about Matt Brash asked in utero, but he never answered my question? I'm a big fan. I think the kid's nasty. Oh yeah. He's got I think he had a slider he threw to the one guy, Debo, where he swung at it and the guy literally fell on his back. And the ball started on the outside part of the plate and ended up like 3-4 inches inside on him, almost hitting him. I mean, to get a hitter to swing on one of those type of pitches where it not only almost hits him, but then he literally falls on his back by the end of the play. That's a nasty pitch. And Brash has got an arm where the ball just explodes out of his hand. And a lot like Munoz, he's got that exploding horizontal kind of movement thing going where the ball's going, it's just snapping in the direction. Even when we're not talking about a slider, just a pure fastball at that point. It still just has that kind of snap to it and the late action snap at that, which just makes it so hard, D-Boy. When you got that late action, you're tracking the pitch, and then it's got this mind of its own kind of movement to the end of it as it's trailing and running off. Hard to get the barrel of the bat on the ball in those situations. You're going to skim it. You're going to get a glancing blow. You'll turn it over. But to get the barrel and the bat on those it's hard. It's why they are so unhittable. Megan, I've been a Mariners fan since Ichiro, and this is the first time since he retired that I have been excited for an M season. Oh, nice. I think they're gonna reward that this year. I do. Ethan says, I'm all in to get Shohei only if it means we can still pay our young guys when the time comes. Kirby, Gilbert, if it's at the cost of things like that, no thanks. Understandable there, Ethan. I think it does help. As it was shown last year, we were the most, profitable baseball team all last year in all of baseball. And you have gotten that budget low before you're starting to pay on these deals to guys like Julio and Luis Castillo. So I think in a lot of ways, you've cleared your books in a way to accommodate a deal like that to where it doesn't have to cost you the kids on the other side of it. So, I get where you're coming from there. I don't want to do that either if that's possible. But I think that they put the position to be able to make that possible. Jackson says, wasn't alive for the 2001 season, was born in 2002. Are they the best team to not win the World Series? As funny as it might sound with this, I might almost put the 95 team as being better than the 01 team or being more capable of going and winning a World Series even. Which may sound weird because of how many games the 2001 team won. But 95 was also the year where Griffey was out a lot of that year, which affected your record in a lot of ways. But the talent you had on that team, A-Rod, Randy Johnson, Griffey, Buhner, Martinez, that might have been the best there too. I mean, there's an argument, I think. Voodoo says, Griffey, Payton, in beast mode? Wow. Did Sean Kemp at least do a drive-by? Too soon? Voodoo's dropping the bombs tonight. I love it, Voodoo. Oh, that's like your fifth zinger, man. And your fifth one. D-Boy, thank you. Please hit that like button. Sam, if Otani comes to us next year, then it's over. Oh, it would be. That's one of the reasons I do it. It's like, good luck. Good luck. Robbie Ray is your fifth starter. Yeah, I think we're going to win a World Series with that crew if everybody can stay healthy. Ethan says the 2001 team was a team where everything just went right in the regular season, even on a less talented team than 95. That's how I saw it too, Ethan. That's how I kind of saw it too. So everything kind of broke right. You didn't have any injuries. It was healthy. Guys had career years at just the right point. Nitro says, would you rather have the Sonics back or the Mariners win the World Series this year? I'll probably go World Series. I do want the Sonics to come back, but I think basketball's got some issues going on with it that like baseball's had to correct this offseason and do some changes. I think basketball has got to do kind of the same thing. And as much as I do want to have the Sonics come back, I also have to acknowledge a little bit that basketball is not being played at a place right now that's like, you're hearing it from guys like Damian Lillard talking about these guys coming to the league right now. And it's the sport's definitely not being played at its apex point. And it could stand to kind of fix some things along the lines of that. But I can't give up a World Series. We've never even gotten to one. I couldn't say no to that. I know eventually I'll get my Sonics I mean, do a Nitro, does that mean I never get my Sonics back, or just I don't get my Sonics back for a couple of years? You know. Jackson says, I just liked the Viz Brando. Glad I subbed to all 3 of your channels. Pumped for the draft. I'm glad you did too, man. Got to get them all. Got to get all 3 of those suckers. Ethan, that would be unfair. Shohei would be unfair. Debo says, can you picture that? Having a lineup so good that Ray at the 5th spot? Oh, it's ridiculous, Debo. Every day you're getting like an ace. Every day you're getting plus stuff. Unhittable stuff. There's no refuge in that rotation. Then you get to the playoffs and then you bump in. I mean, what are you going to do? You can almost bump in Ohtani to the bullpen then in the playoffs. Still have him just play right field, come out of the bullpen, and he just stays out in right field after he gives you an inning. You know, I mean, get out of here. All the stuff you could do with that. Yeah, nice to see you guys are agreeing with me. World Series all day. Can't turn down that World Series. Can't do it. And Wu-Tang in the city would be wild if we got a World Series. I'm definitely coming to the West Side if we do that for the celebration. 100%. Daniel W. says, how many games do you plan on covering, or are you just playing it by ear? I don't have a dead set schedule, Daniel, admittedly speaking, but my goal this year is to go to 80 games. So if I can do half of the Mariner baseball games this year, I think I've done pretty good. I think last year we got like 34, 35. So we're going to try to double what we did last year. And then the next year, and then the year after that, let's try to get up to 130 games. You know, let's see if we can amp it up even more and eventually, of course, be able to do just about all of them if it's possible. Some of the football overlap won't let that happen, but getting up and past 100 is the long-term goal, but we're going to get to 80 this year for sure, I think. Especially if the games can go quick like this a little bit. You know? Jackson, I liked what I saw from Kelenic too, even on the strikeout. He got some tough pitches, Jackson. I think one of the pitches was a ball called too, that he got called for a strike. But he looked on it. He didn't look like he was flailing up there or that he was chomping at the bit to swing. He was just trusting himself. First pitch taking at times. Good to see. And yeah, I think Wu-Tang Sonics are coming eventually, one way or the other. Megan says, the Crow's Nest, I'm talking to Ollie, and he said, hi, Brandon. Tell Ollie I said, what's up? Tell him said, hey. D-Boy says, NBA not the same. I watch more MLB and NFL than NBA, and growing up, I loved basketball. I do too, D-Boy. I mean, I literally go out into the gym 2-3 times a week and go play basketball. And I'm too old to play in games and stuff. I don't want to roll an ankle, but I love going out there, going hard, shooting. I still love the sport in that aspect of things, but you watch it being played now and it's, you know, like what was the problem with baseball in recent years? You know, it's strikeout, it's home run, or it's nothing. And you get this very static brand of a game style being played, and basketball the same way. Everybody's coming up now and they're going to just hoist up 3-pointers. The guy's going to work off the screen and try to throw up some, 27, 28-foot shot. And it's not great passing. It's not ball movement. It's not beating defenses. It's very just rudimentary basketball being played. I mean, that's part of the reason I like playing even in 2-on-2, 3-on-3 games on these courts indoors. Because these kids now, that's what they want to do. They catch the ball, they're 3 feet behind the 3-point line, they're just hucking it up. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm not going to run out there and try to jump to block your 3 feet behind the line 3-pointer. And okay, you hit it. Good. Well, yay. Yeah. Nitro basketball isn't in an amazing place right now. I love college basketball, but it's not growing in the NBA. If you get breathed on, it's a foul. Yeah, they got to bring back the physicality within the NBA. It's gotten so soft, it's turning into soccer. Booty says, you're going to go to the All-Star game, Brandon? Your fans can do a meetup? Let's go. I'm down. We'll have to kind of figure it out. I don't have tickets, though, either, and I'm probably sure they're probably sold out. So I might have to go and just hang out in the bar outside or something. But that's a great idea, man. I want to get over this summer to the West Side. I do. So it's definitely a goal, and that might be a good time to come. Debo says we only did 35 last year. That was good. It seems like you did more than that, so I'm good with 80. Yeah. And I might do more than 80. You never know. We'll play it by ear. Jackson, I was young, so I never got to watch the Sonics play. My dad was heartbroken. He has basketball tattoo, doesn't even watch anymore. It does. It breaks your heart when they take your team. You're like ripping a part of the youth away, I used to love watching those George Karl teams and even the 80s there with that before, where I think we had like Casey Jones here for a spell, and Dale Ellis and Tom Chambers and Xavier McDaniel, the X-Man. And you just rip it from our grasp for no good reason. Sucks. Hopefully your dad, JL, gets to see the Sonics again. They'll be back, I think, within 3 years minimum to me. Nitro says, I probably should have said you don't get the Sonics back if you take the World Series. Oh, Lord. I probably still have to take the World Series, Nitro. I want my Sonics back, but I don't know. Can't turn down the World Series at this point. And yeah, well, Wu-Tang, to me, Kelnick is where a lot of the ultimate success of this season lies for our Mariner team. Where you go, can you push beyond being a playoff team to being a truly World Series contending team? And I think you're right. If Kelnick can be even just that average bat at that point, you can push yourself to that stage of things. Very much agreed. Sam says, hopefully the super team crap isn't the same when the Sonics come back. Hopefully not. That's a great place where the NBA needs to establish and get around that. We're going to assemble our magical team, or we're going to manufacture needs to kind of come organically. It's got to come from teams drafting and developing right. Having the right coaching scheme to fit the talent. That stuff needs to be where this needs to be more based back in. If they can drive it. I don't know if it might be out of their control. It's such a player-friendly league at this point. Ethan says, basketball's so soft, your pinky will touch a guy and it's a foul. No defense, just scoring. It's boring. Exactly. Voodoo, I was so hyped when we drafted Durant. Only saw him once live. He's a great player, fun player to watch. Yeah, and it sucks that we didn't get to see, but just kind of a blip of him. And Megan, I'm the same way. I'm not watching NBA consistently until the Sonics are home. Even if the product was good, I'd probably still be bitter about it. I'd probably be a bitter little bitch about it and be like, no, I don't care. I don't care how good it is. You took my team. Voodoo, we can go for the home run derby. That's a good idea, man. I'm down to do it. Let's try to maybe get something structured as we go along through this next month and see if we can kind of figure something out. Climate Pledge arena's waiting there, Sam. They got the courts on point. I mean, it's all ready to go. Wu-Tang says the decline of defense in basketball has been made worse to watch for sure. I get beefing up offense to attract people, but it alienated the fans that were already there. Yeah, it changed the sport in too major of a way, Wu-Tang. And they just lean every year. It seems to be more leaning in that direction of things, and then it removes a very keen aspect of the sport. We were talking earlier tonight about, they made changes in baseball that had to help out offense. And is it because offense is just so great? Well, no, it's because your offense had been depressed in your sport. It's because the pitching had been like what offense is in basketball right now, where that's what was dominating and running the day. There wasn't a sense of balance there. And we need to bring that more back to the sport. And basketball needs to do that same thing and allowing for defense to be a part of things again. I don't know if they can. Like I said, it's maybe too far down the tracks at this point with where the game's at, and that it is what it is, and the younger generation still will love it, and the next younger generation will still love it, and they won't think that's too big of a deal. But so much of a better brand of basketball played in the 80s and 90s and what they did. Yeah, they weren't as athletic. Yeah, they couldn't do as many super cool moves one-on-one out in the open floor, but the ball movement, the X's and O's strategy that was going on, you could more feel that when you're watching the games, and that's been lost now. Spencer Haywood's a legend no one ever talks about, 12th man for life. True. He came a little bit before my time, but he is a former great Seahawk. He definitely has forgotten about with the team gone now. Nitro says, I would love a World Series, but I want my Sonics back. And didn't say the Mariners could win one if you choose the Sonics. Didn't say the Mariners couldn't win one if you choose the Sonics. I feel you there. I'm torn on it. I'm torn. You give me the guarantee on the World Series. That's a hard guarantee to turn down, especially when we've gone through 55 years of our existence without one. I might have to wait 100 years for this sucker just on chance. And Jordan would have had 40, 45 in today's game easy, especially when he was young Jordan with the way he attacked the basket. No doubt. Houston M super teams have already been phased out significantly. The last super team to win a chip was in 2018, and they still drafted 3 of 4 of their best players. Agreed, it's been working out a lot less, and maybe this is going to allow for it to go back to kind of the organic realm of this Houston. I still think you see teams kind of try it, and the trying it or the angling for it is still affecting a little bit of the not trusting the organic build a little bit. But there are those teams that have organically built. Like, Memphis has kind of come along as an organic team building along, and there are some of those teams that are doing it in that way, which is good to see. So maybe you're right. Maybe Houston is starting to now move back in this direction of things a little bit, or, course correcting. TJ says most boring game in between the exciting parts. Yeah, TJ. Well said. Well said. Yeah, Damian Lillard said he hates the super teams, only real NBA player in the NBA. And he's given some thoughts too about these young guys coming through too, and where the game's going and some of his concerns with it. He says, yeah, let me know when you're coming out to the West Side. Sincerely, new employee of the Seattle Mariners. I will be doing it for sure, man. I would like to this summer. So I definitely would like to get out there if I can. I'm going to try. Y2K says, can't be Jokic X's and O's ball movement. He's great player. Maybe the MVP again this year. Third time, fourth time over. So he is a little bit of an outlier to the rest of the league a little bit, but he's fun to watch. Y2K says you should give the Baseball Things podcast a shot. It's $5 a month, but by far the best M's content I've come across. I'll check it out, man. I'll take a look. D-Boy says, Brandon, we have to do some type of meetup, NFL and MLB this year. Your goal this year is number 1 football meetup. Megan can't come. She already got to go to the game with you. Baseball meetup, Megan's okay to come this one. Double your sub count and hit 80 Major League live stream. For sure. Doubling the sub count would definitely be the goal here on this channel. Get up over 1,000 this year. Would love to see that on the baseball side of it. But I want to do a meetup on the west side, D-Boy. I kind of wanted to do one last year and didn't get a chance, but I do definitely want to do one this year over on that edge of things. So I'll start trying to kind of flesh something out. I think the All-Star game could maybe be a good time to go at. Certainly we're going to be in a quiet time for football right around then. So there won't be a lot to talk with that. That'd be a good time to go take a trip. It'll be beautiful over on the west side. So I might have to do that. That might be the route that I take on that time. That might be the time I decide to make the pull over there and make a trip over on that side, D-Boy. So I promise I'll let you know. Keep tuned in, and I'll definitely keep you updated on where I'm at with it. But let me think about it there. Joka says, yes, the Crow's Nest is back. Bit late here. Hey, what's up, Joka? We're back in a big way. Big way. And we'll do I need to do a meetup. Definitely need to do a meetup. Nitro says, the problem with the superstar teams is everyone has a massive ego and it doesn't blend well. No, it doesn't. It's the stars and the egos putting it together thinking this is all it takes to make a super team, and it's not. It's teams are constructed by the parts and the roles and the guys fitting to those roles. And you just can't, I think, usually manufacture it. LeBron got away with doing some of this because he was just so good and dominant that he could just slide on in here and there and make it go. But certainly I think maybe there's a little bit less of that as we're going forward, and that there's a little bit less success within that. The Nets had that fall on their face, obviously, with how they tried to do it. There's been a couple other teams that have tried to do this as well. Suns here recently with Durant, and that doesn't look like that was going to work either. So I'd like it. It'd be good for the NBA if it went back to organically just trying to build up the team, because now you have fans really invested in the team and the players, not thinking their player's going to eventually be shipped out of town or he's going to go leave for his super team for his true stop at that point. Joka says, hopefully Robbie Ray's back to Cy Young form this season. Hopefully so, man. Wu-Tang says Robbie Ray's velocity was back up in training camp, so I think he's due to be better this year. The team's pitching is capable of being the best in baseball. It is indeed. Undoubtedly. Yeah, I think, Ethan, the All-Star break would be the part I'm going to circle around a little bit. Not for sale. Go M's. I'm hyped about this year, Brando. This might be a magical season. I can see the M's or Hawks winning a chip in the next 2 seasons. Matter if we got them both in the same year, not for sale. I mean, Boston's had that happen like 4 times where they've had like 3 teams all win in the same year. So why not us? Why not us too? Now's our time. YGK says on the Heat with LeBron, Chris Bosh really accepted being the third guy and accepted his role. He's talked about it. He did. Yeah, he accepted I ain't getting my touches. I ain't getting my points. I just have to fit to my role. And somebody's got to eat their pride, which is easier said than done, especially with these modern enough NBA players. But props to him for doing so in that. For seeing the big picture. Nitro says it's nice seeing Giannis with the Bucks winning with only one massive star player. It is, especially with him remaining there and staying there. It's cool to see. Very cool to see. Sam the Great, the superstar philosophy doesn't work anymore. The NBA was the last sort to finally learn. Yeah. Agreed. A lot of damage done. The guys leaving town and people getting disenfranchised beyond us in Seattle. I think in other franchises where you have a star that you like, he's there for a couple of years, then he goes to the other team. It's tough. Joker, the Jared Kelenic seems better than he was last season, swinging at everything. Now today he looked for his pitch and got a base hit. One game, but it made a big difference. Agreed, Joker. I thought he looked good in every at bat tonight. And you're right, he looked a little more comfortable, a little bit less pressing, a little less intense, a little less just arms squeezing as tight as he can. You know what I mean? A little bit more of just relaxed up at the plate, knows he's got an approach and a process and a plan, and then applying that plan. Yeah. Andrew Tate, let's go, Ty France. Let's go, Ty France. Let's get it. Ethan, Brandon, I think the pitch clock is perfect for your stream, as I know you're trying to pace yourself more on the live streams, more 2 to 4 hours instead of 10 hours. These games are going to fly by. Yeah, I will be able to do more, I think, because of the shorter pace of these games. Because it is hard for me, Ethan, to get off, and especially if the games go to 4.5, 5 hours, it's brutal. And I'm just sensing and doing this stuff more and more. It's like the 5, 6, 7 hour ones are the ones that kill my brain 2 days later. The 3, 4 hour ones are no problem, but those long ones are the ones where the next couple of days I'm just. And Utero 95 to 100 wins is very attainable this year. I would even, I think this team wins 100, 304 games when it's all said and done. I do. Sam the Great, these professional sports teams started watching Moneyball, laughing out loud. And yeah, your Utero, the pitch clock was needed. So much more action-packed and moving this game was. So much. It's a better product on the field when it's going like this. There's no reason it has to take 4.5, 5 hours to get a baseball game done. Debo says, Brandon, do you think we can overtake Houston this year, or are we a few years away from that? No, we can overtake them, Debo. I mean, we were really close with them last year, even getting swept. You were in all 3 of those games in the playoffs. You could make an argument, Debo, that you played them as strongly in the playoffs as any team last year played them. And so I certainly think that if we're step for step with them last year and this year, you do get a little bit more improvement from where you were. Why can't you be up there dancing with them at that point? That's where we come back to D-Boy. We know Teoscar Hernandez is going to be a solid contributing bat in this lineup. Colton Wong will probably be a little more steadier than what you're getting from Frazier. You get the improvement bumps from the young guys positionally in Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez. Now can you get a guy like Kelenic to kick in? And that can be something to then take you over the top. But he kind of remains the key for me on that, Debo. And not to put it singularly on him or not, but just this is a guy you traded for who had a talent base that was just a little bit below where Julio's at and what you thought you were getting in that player. If he can tap into becoming that to add to what you have in addition to this team, that's a team that can get itself to the World Series, in my opinion. So he becomes a little bit of a key of that. And if he's not able to take hold then at that point, Debo, you probably have to go make a more aggressive trade out there for like with that Reynolds guy that they were talking, I think about with the Pirates for a while. Go make some kind of trade like that then if you can't get Kelenic to click in. But he becomes a little bit of the key on that to me. Have yourself a good night, Megan. Appreciate you. I do appreciate you. Debo says, I think I'm the only person that doesn't like the pitch clock. Y2K says, Tommy La Stella, I would not have predicted starting game 1. I feel like he's okay at best. Yeah, we were calling him Tommy Patella on the live stream. I don't know why he's starting out there. It doesn't feel like that's the best option that you have to call upon for the DH role. A DH role that struggled over the last couple of years. Yeah. I guess maybe once Haggerty comes back, he would be out there and left, and maybe have Kelly DH in a game like this. Wu-Tang says, let's jump out to an early lead in the division while the Astros have injuries, baby. That's right. Down a couple of guys. Let's get while the getting's good, man. Daniel says, God, this is such a beautiful month. NFL draft, Mariners baseball. We won't have such a lull either between now and the start of the NFL season now that we have a real baseball team. Well said, Daniel, and agreed. Now that it doesn't go completely dark and quiet, we can actually have something to talk about. And I agree. I think it'll make it a lot funner getting through some of these months like May, June, early July when nothing's happening football-wise. 360 Inspiration. Do you think we win the next game against Cleveland tomorrow? What score? Yeah, I think the bats continue to come alive a little bit. We get good starting pitching again. Keep them to our 2 runs tomorrow. We score 5 runs, so 5-2. Julio gets his first bomb of the year. And Sam the Great, Castillo fit to the new clock rule like bread on butter. He looked completely at ease with that pitch clock. YDK says if Wong has 100 WRC plus, that is a huge upgrade over Frazier. It is. And not a crazy thing to ask for him to reach to, right? You're just asking for the guy not to hit sub 200. That's what you're asking. Just get me up into the 250 range. Get me up into a reasonable place. And it will have a huge effect. Debo says, I'm not giving betting advice, but they're saying the M's are only going to win 87 games. I took the over bet. I'd take the over on that too. I'd absolutely take the over on that. Okay, are we going to do the cuddle thing? Okay, we'll do the cuddle thing. I got it. Yes. Christian Rolfson says pitch clock was great. Definitely made the game exciting despite it being scoreless into the 8th. That's a great point there, Christian, is that it made it more exciting with a scoreless game. You'd have a game like this normally and we're 3.5 hours in, no score, nothing's happening. And, you don't know what to make of it. But this one did feel like it was moving all the way through. Ethan says, I would have rather seen Cooper Hummel at DH. I think anything over than Tommy Patella. Joka says, Teoscar is going to be the big difference. He can hit home runs, has power and average, something Mitch Haniger did. Plus, I think Mitch Haniger is already on the IL. So good trade for us. Yeah, it's a good trade for us on that one. And, I'm perfectly happy with flipping on Teoscar. That was a great move. Best move by Dipoto this offseason, by far. Y2K's last year, Frazier was 81 WRC plus Wong last year, I believe 116. Just get to 100. Y2K, right? Just get to the 100 spot. That's all we're looking for. Megan says bread on butter or butter on bread, B. Well, potato, Megan. Sometimes, we're on the other side of the world here. We say things in the opposite order, naturally speaking. Yeah, Megan, Madam Pumpkin had to make her appearance. This is her new thing that she's done like in the last 3 months. This is her new pickup thing, is now she wants to be held like a baby. So now I have to hold my cat like a baby all the time. It's great. Fix my microphone here. 360 Inspiration, best second round draft picks you could see us getting. I'll give you a couple guys. I think if you get John Michael Schmitz in the second round, that's fantastic. Maze Smith would be a great second round guy. Dayan Henley would be a great second round middle linebacker if you could land him. Zach Charbonnet is a running back in the second round. Make a lot of sense, and I like him quite a bit. Darnell Washington, if he still does fall into the second round, 360. That'd be another guy. Those would be my favorite names of the second rounders. There's other guys that are definitely worthy, but those are kind of my guys I got a preference for that I like. I think they could have maybe the biggest impact. 360 odds, Breezy or Cansey's available at 20. Combine them with Carter and is our D-line set? I think you would have a set line with those two, yeah. But if you paired those two together. Breezy will be available at 20, 360. I have pretty good confidence in that. I Don't know about Cansey. He kind of feels like he's going to go somewhere in the middle teens to me, if not a little bit higher. So I would say maybe on Cansey, but I feel more strongly your Breezy will be there. And J.O. Wong's got a little pop to him too. Certainly more pop, J.O., than Frazier. Colton set a career high last year with home runs. Only 16, but still, again, compared to a guy like Frazier that's going to get you like 2 or 3 a year maybe. That's like top of the order power at that point, comparatively speaking. D-Boy says, I need to see more of Wong. I'm not sold on him yet. I don't think he's a fantastic option, D-Boy, in that he's somehow like this amazing guy. It was one of those things where you just didn't have a lot of places in order to get this team improved this offseason. And here's a place like Y2K is talking about where you can take this guy that you've got in the spot as it stands hitting sub 200, get yourself to a guy with a good glove at 250 with some speed and a little bit of pop. And now that substantially helps out the lineup. It's not a great swing as far as the player or some amazing, new guy that you've brought in that just is, one of the best at the position in the sport. But there wasn't a lot of places to make improvements to that position as we saw in free agency. Some of the good guys were really going at some crazy prices like Turner, and there just wasn't the deal out there to necessarily be made. So it's good. Y2K says, I have an allegiance to the black cat. I tried to get her on stream yesterday when I was doing my stream, and I put her up in in my cat tree. And she's so freaked out about the orange one coming and getting her that she's just like, no, I got to get down. Megan says, she's your baby, so it fits. Yeah, she's totally done the baby thing now. She gets right in the crook of my arm. She lays in there. She puts her head up on the shoulder. And then I can do no work, of course, because then I have this one arm with this 30-pound chubby cat in my arm. Joker Jack Charbonnet would be a great pick in the second round, man. Perfect combination with Mr. Lightning, Kenneth Walker. D-Boys, is this a Seahawks Mariner stream? It's both. It's a bit of both. Sam the Great can't believe Trey Turner went to the Texans. The guard? I guess I see it. Megan says, so I'll never come near you as you will be covered in cat hair beer. Pretty much. Because she's going up in the chest area now. Trey Turner's fun, D-Boy. I would have liked him, but not for $300 million. And that's what he signed for, right? Crazy amount of money. The Rangers. Okay. I already got football partially on the brain, Sam. So you start bringing in football names. I'm like, you'll really throw me for a loop on that. You're like, what, huh? What was it, the who? Yeah, this is Wong's a solid veteran, 261 career average, former Gold Glove. Hopefully comes through this year. Yeah, steady presence. Steady presence, and you're leaving one of the black holes in your lineup by bringing him in. I think it's going to have a great effect. And you're the Y2K Adley Rutschman, 5 for 5 with a home run today. Ooh, that's a hell of an opening day. Hell of an opening day. Let's go. Let's go. Joker, what are your thoughts on Bobby Wagner contract? I think it's great. 1 year, $7 million deal. You paid him on a 2019, you signed him to a contract extension that was going to be 3 years and average $18 million a year. Now you're going to get him on a 1 year deal at $7 million. I think that's pretty good. And you're paying a $7 million deal. That ain't top of the market anymore. He's not one of the highest paid middle linebackers in the sport anymore. Now you're getting value for Bobby Wagner, even at his advanced age. It's one of the reasons why I didn't understand why people there was a good contingent of people online that got so up in arms over the Wagner signing. And I was sitting there going, well, how do you get angry about this particular signing? It's not for big money. It's not for multi-year. And the guy improves the position from what you had last year and what you were due to have in the upcoming season. Made a lot of sense to me. 360 Inspiration. Sorry, man, never get you this busy on stream on the Hawks Nest. No worries, man. I don't mind. As I said on the Hawks Nest stream, we'll be doing these baseball games. I'm going to be talking football in here too. I know it'll be coming in. So I'm completely open to it, especially with the draft within 3 weeks from now. When would we have to pick Jahmyr Gibbs to get good value? I think Gibbs has got a very potential outside shot here, 360, of sliding into the end of the first round. So you saw, I think, a couple years ago, Jaguars take a guy that was kind of similar to Gibbs. That main running back they were using this year, I forget his name, but they took him in kind of that similar state. So probably at the top of the second round. You would hope that he lasts your first, second round pick, 360 inspiration, but he might be picked inside of that point just in the second round. I don't think he slides into mid to the back of the second round. I know I had him in my mock going there in that way recently, where I had us picking him in the mock at the end of the second round. But my instinct on this is that he probably finds his way up into the top of the second round somewhere. Sam the Great says, too hyped on the Mariners win. You can't be too hyped on the Mariners win, man. You can't be too hyped. It's not possible. And joke, I do think this is probably Bobby Wagner's last year. Or he's playing it 1 year at a time. He's going to take it year by year and see how the body feels. But he's definitely getting up there. He's played a lot of football. You look at him now, he's climbing up the mark. I'm going to be doing a video here soon about Bobby's greatness and where he sits all time as the middle linebacker ranking. And I think that at all time, he's got a strong claim to being, named as maybe the third or second best all-time middle linebacker to ever play the game. So you got to play a lot of games to get to that point as far as your recognition is concerned. And he's gotten there. Let's go, M's, D-boy. Y2K says other teams watch their baseball games, but Mariner games are just so intense. They are intense. They get deep. 360, we draft Jalen Carter, Breezy, Mozzie Smith, and a third or fourth round linebacker. Where does our defense rank next year with that? Yeah, you're probably top 12, 360. I mean, young guys aren't going to be ready to be prime yet, right? They'll be good. They'll give you flashes. They'll give you good play, but it's hard to count on them as upper level contributors in their first year necessarily. You'll have those guys on in roles, but even still, there's a little bit of maybe, I wouldn't go top 10, but top 12 with the top 10 offense and a top 3 special teams unit. That's a team that can make some noise, especially in a wide open NFC, especially in a wide open NFC West. YDK, how are the Mariners if Ty hits 30 home runs? He was so close to 2 today. I mean, if Ty's hitting 30, I think you're getting near 30 out of Teoscar. I think you're getting 30 out of Julio. And I think you're getting 30 out of Cal. So if I've got 4 guys in my lineup hitting 30 plus home runs, that's 120 home runs from just 4 guys alone. So you're very likely to be on track at that point to be one of the league leaders in home runs. You're going to have one of the best rotations. You're going to have one of the best defenses, and you're going to have one of the best bullpens. If that is not a formula for a team that can turn itself into a World Series contending team, I don't know what is. What else do you need at that point? .360 inspiration. Did the Eagles and Niners get better this offseason? I see that as our main competition in the NFC. I think the Eagles, they both sort of probably more are going to maintain when it's all said and done. Neither a negative nor an addition. The Niners have certainly had their share of free agents go. Mike McGlinchey's gone. They've lost a couple other guys that have been, kind of key important members of that team. But at the same point in time, they brought in Hargrave, right? They brought in Sam Darnold to help out the quarterback room. So they do have some help on board too to offset some of that. Eagles, a little bit likewise, I would say, where there's no real major loss that they've had to sustain here outside of Hargrave. And they're going to have 2 first-round picks in order to supplement the loss that they did have. They brought back Graham. They brought back Fletcher Cox. They got some young guys that they drafted last year in the linebacker and Jordan Davis, who will probably continue to develop this year. So if that's the case, then I think that they probably maintained. And Utero says, Brandon, are you still going to do that Ken Behring sketch? I will at some point, yeah. I got to figure out if I'm going to do a live action or if I'm just going to do it through a animation style, with the mouth moving and have him do it that way, which I might end up eventually doing it that way. I'm playing with the notion of it. So it's that, or I'm going to have to get my dad to play Ken Behring. It's one of the two. Joke is at least minimum we got to go to the ALCS this year. Oh, yeah. At least that. Y2K says, last year and so far through one game, I feel the Mariners suck at getting the runner from second in with 0 outs and a runner in third with 1 out. Is this a Mariner problem or a league-wide problem? I don't know if it's as much a league-wide problem. It's been an issue for us for a couple of years on getting runners in from scoring position. So it's an ongoing thing that they've been trying to deal with. And, it's supposed to not be something that's really a trackable stat. It's supposed to be varied and regression to the mean. And there's no such thing as the clutch gene. And for whatever reason, over the last couple of years, it's been a problem, and it continued to be a problem tonight. We'll see if it subsists throughout the course of the year, Y2K, but it's something to track, as it has been an issue in recent years. It certainly has been. Joka says the DH spot might be our only downfall if AJ or La Stella aren't as good as we thought. Maybe, Joka. Remember, that's also a place, though, that tends to be one you can address somewhere else down the line. If you aren't getting the play out of that, that's not that, find a good hitting third baseman, or find an outfielder who can play some defense and hit for average. Talking about needing to go out there and just find a guy that can just play DH and you don't need to get him in the field at that point, that is a little bit easier to find versus some of the other positions out there. And they could probably address that downwind at some point if they do come find out that that is the reality of the situation. Sam the Great says, I got to say this about the Seahawks. We're 1A and 1B with the Niners. We're close to them. We got to finish this offseason and have a great draft, but we're right there with them, man. They're not super far ahead. They might be just a little bit ahead, but I don't think that they're super far ahead. And Utero says, do the Bearing sketch Brew Style? Don't know if anyone else watches that channel. Do the Bearing sketch Brew Styles? Don't know if I'll check out the channel. I haven't seen it before. I'll check it out. See how they do it. I'd like to maybe try to do if I could do a fast animation style, and I'd like to do it. It'd be hard to act it out, I think. Easier to do the voice work. JL says, I got $50 on the Mariners for the World Series. If they win, I get $1,050. My dad got $50 on them in the ALCS. He'll get $550 if they win. Ooh, okay. Well, Vegas must like us on that, because that's not as much return as I think you'd get for $50, JL. It's like you get like $5,000 on a bet like that. But they must think the Mariners are, I'm guessing the odds weren't as long as they've been in recent years this year. Yeah, the Major League Baseball package, Y2K for people, is just such crap with that stuff. And D-Boy, Tommy Patella tendon looks like a AAA player to me too. Did not look like a Major League hitter out there. Megan says, I said it earlier and say it again, Hawks to win the Super Bowl and Mariners to win the World Series in 2023. Mark it. I'm marking it. I'm putting it down, Megan. Dan the Great says, imagine if the Niners get Lamar at quarterback. That would be nuts. They're giving up Bosa to do it. I mean, that's the thing, is I'd love to see it. If I can flip out Bosa for Lamar, I'll make that trade on the Niners. I am perfectly happy to make that trade on the Niners. Bosa's a bigger problem for me and our Hawks to me than Lamar would be. Maybe that's just me on that. Y2K says, I don't think LaStella was making the roster. I feel like he's getting a shot to show himself before Moore comes back. Yeah, I would say that sounds right to me too. Joka says, you have anyone you think the Mariners could trade for at the DH spot? I don't really want to mind at the moment, Joka. It would, you're going to want to target one of those teams that might think they're a contender right now with a good hitter in that spot who finds himself falling out, that, you can pull him in. You're going to look for that aging hitter that can no longer play in the field, but still gives you the pop of the bat, because then the cost isn't as much to go bring him in. You're giving like a middling prospect up to get that guy who potentially substantially upgrades the position. And we kind of did this with the Royals guy last year that we brought in, but he was really on the last legs at that point. We need to get more of a guy that, again, a little bit like what you've done with Cole Wong. If the DH spot's a spot like we've seen from in the past, where like last season, where you've got guys hitting 200 and giving you no power and not generating any walks, and they're doing too many strikeouts, then, just getting a guy in there who can hit 260 with 20 home runs is a substantial upgrade at that point. And easier to find because you're not looking for that big of an upgrade swing of a player at that point. Joka says, I thought Carlos Santana was actually decent. I mean, he had some clutch hits and he could hit for power at times. But when you look at him from an average standpoint, how often he struck out, how little he was going to generate walks and get on base, and that he was hitting in the middle of the lineup, it wasn't ideal. You know, you want to do better than that, the DH position. He was one of the, at the end of the day, problems in our lineups when he went out there. Sam the Great says, but let's go Mariners regardless. Let's go Mariners regardless is right. That's right. Well, we're 3.5 hours in, folks. We got the end of the game here. I've got my kitty cat here who's definitely needing a little attention. She's wanting some lovey here. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I am going to try to shoot for being back on Saturday. And we're going to see if we can live stream the game on Saturday. I think we're playing. So if possible, I will be back here on Saturday going live. We're going to be shooting for 80 games this year. I'm going to try to push it as hard as I can and get as many as I can in. So do get subbed up if you're not subbed up, so you get your notifications and know that we're coming on. I'll try to let you guys know in advance from one to the next when I'm going to be on the next one, so it's not quite random, but there will be a little bit of randomization here going on. And Y2K, I'd keep up, man, but I gotta keep this on a schedule, because if I don't, I'm going to burn myself out, and it's going to be tough, right? Because we're going to be having I'm going to be streaming this year with the Mariners channel 3 times as many more hours than I streamed last year. So that does mean we got to shorten some of these streams so I don't quite burn myself out on that side of it, so I can go again Saturday, right? I can bounce back in 2 days and be fresh to go tomorrow on Saturday rather than blow myself out all the way to Sunday on the Seahawks show. So I gotta kind of do that balance thing with this, because I have sensed myself at times the Hawks channel, especially going too hard, is just the brain gets topped out, man, and I can't bounce back as quickly as like this last week after the Bobby show on Sunday. I couldn't come back. I was I was just kind of too brain dead with it. I was trying to keep my head right, and it was like, it'd be a lot of me streaming, just looking at you guys like with just eyes like this, like, what are we talking about? What? Huh? What? But we'll go bunch this year. I'm gonna keep dialing it up, Y2K. I promise you, my man. I promise you on that. And we will keep this going strong. We'll keep this going solid. Our Mariners got themselves the first win of the season, on their way to a World Series title. I ask. Never in 20 years have we had this much optimism, this much feeling that the glass is almost fully full. Not half full, almost fully full. It's not blind optimism here. They showed you tonight. They've got a formula in place for winning baseball games. Starting rotation, great bullpen, just enough hitting. Fielding across the board. That can get it done. That can get you to the World Series. So hopefully this was the miraculous first step on their way to maybe getting that title, getting on that kind of run. But either way, we're going to be here every step of the way, covering every bit of this scintillating action as it was tonight with the 3-run dramatic home run by Ty France, having a great night with 3 for 4. Castillo looking like a Cy Young award-winning pitcher already out there on game 1. Let's see if this team can keep it up. We'll be tracking it. We'll be going at it every bit, as I said, throughout the course of this season. So please hit that like button. Please sub up. But beyond all that, please don't you ever forget.